Okay, let's see. Do 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 do. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well tonight. When you get here, I am working on sharing out the link. That would probably be a good thing. Let's see. Do 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 do. No, I won't be singing tonight, so you won't have to worry about your ears. I hope today has been a wonderful day for you and that everything is just peachy keen. Um, don't you like that, peachy keen? Where did somebody come up with the notion that peaches were keen? No clue. Anyway, tonight is the premiere of a new series. I had so many people who had missed the Silent Minute. And while I'm not planning on going live uh, every night, this will be every Tuesday evening, barring no hiccups. And there we go. I took care of that one. And it's just going to be relaxed. We may have people come up. No rhyme or reason just yet. The goal is to answer questions, to be here and chat about whatever floats your boat, really. Grab your cup of tea or coffee. If there is a burning subject, we'll cover it. If there isn't a burning subject, we'll pick a topic that we can all enjoy or all pre-plan plot and do my magic. I did have some cool things to share to this evening just because I'm always researching, and I'll give you an example of my day. First off, now that I'm done scrambling to get everything ready, which you would have thought I would have had before I pressed the button to go live. Welcome to my channel. I'm Soul Stitch. Everybody calls me Soul. I have been walking a unique path. My husband says I sneak up on people. For better than 50, going on 60 years. So I'm going to present to you the goals that I have for my channel. Because I am an avid student, and I have been since I was 12. And you can blame that on a gentleman who is the only man I consider my father. He was my horse trainer, but before he was ever my horse trainer, his name was Stephen Michel Cochet. I had gone to interview him for an English class when I was in 8th grade. We were supposed to find somebody who did what we wanted to be when we grew up, or at least the job we wanted to have that was most, prevalent in our minds at that time. And I wanted to be a jockey. I was, 5 foot. I was perfect height. I loved my horses. Anyway, I couldn't find a jockey. And with my mother working, I had no way to get to where the racetrack was, which was probably a good hour or so away. And I wasn't of the mind of hitchhiking. That never would have crossed my mind anyway. So, long story short, I found this horse trainer and I went to where he was teaching, to a local um, ranch that was, just a few miles away, so I could walk there by myself. Wasn't a big deal. And so I went there. I met with him and his wife. Now, she was the primary for the interview because he was in the middle of teaching a class. So I sat with her, watching the lesson, enjoying everything, and had multiple questions that I was asking her of. One was basically, what was one thing that he would strongly suggest any young person um, do for their lives, for finding their purpose, or getting themselves on the right path. And she told me that his belief was, you need to study as much as you can. Um, Never stop studying, because when you stop studying, you die. And then the addition to that was, learn to do as many things as you can, and you will never go without. So both of those two things, apparently, I took to heart. I have studied in my lifetime, which this June will be 63 years, yay. Um, Anything from accounting to welding and stuff in between. I have been a tattoo artist for over 13 years. I do artistry. I've always been an artist in some form. I've made jewelry, Christmas cards. I've welded. I uh, built ATM safes, big old things that I could stand in. And I was the only woman that they put on the assembly line, which ended up giving me bilateral carpal tunnel, which you see I have. No problems with my hands. I did not have surgery, which was something that Brother Paul was talking about earlier today. And when I got to sit in on Yankee Southerners channel, and he was talking about having surgery and the problems with his hands. Well, in the course of my studies, I have always been guided towards healing. Even as a small child, uh, my next door neighbor, who was my mentor, uh, she had told me when I was in my 20s or 30s that I used to come to her when I was like 4 and stand in the garden, and we would talk all kinds of spiritual stuff. So I've always been on this spiritual path. I saw angels. I talked to angels. Um, they were my friends, my protectors. I used to take great pride, puff up my chest, that my given name was Michelle. And Michelle was the feminine of Michael. And Michael was a good friend of mine. And just because I guess I took it upon myself to believe that I was named after Archangel Michael. So that was kind of a cool little history. Um, but yes, so anyway, I have always been on the weird side, and I don't mind it at all. Uh, I have a dear, sweet friend. She's sister to me, Angela, that sometimes shows up in the chats, and I neglected to send her a text tonight to say, "Honey, I'm on." Um, but she will catch me, because if somebody comes walking in with a cane, a limp, or whatever, I'm just zeroed in on them. Anyway, I hope you don't mind that I am rambling at the moment. Part of it is I'm looking for something on my computer, so I can't see if there's a chat. I was looking for a little ambiance to have in the background. I'm deeply drawn to frequencies, And you'll discover over the course of our time together, obviously not in one night, that frequencies are key not only in our experience and in the way that we experience life and on a biological sense, but for me also, um, because I'm so sensitive, I can't even go underneath electrical wires, the big giant power wires, those ugly things, without it raising the hackles and making me feel almost nauseous. It just, it messes with me. And there's lots of people who experience an electromagnetic frequency toxicity. So let's see if this one will work. 432 hertz is like an ultimate, it's a pure tone. It's a pure frequency that the body heals. Um, there's many different beliefs on that, on where the frequency um, comes from, the Gregorian chants. So there's a lot of religious stuff behind it. But now I see everybody. See, I'm done getting all the, what do you call it? The ambiance in. Hey, Cranky Frankie. Hi, OG. I love you, son. Gas, thank you for showing up. Sling Blade, hey, welcome. Greg, cool. I'm glad you're here. And Frugal Mama, much love to you, sweetheart. So, I can't believe that there was this many people already here. Thank you for the thumbs up. I feel so honored. And let's see. I am taking a moment. Fushi, hey, Fushi. I like that name. And Divergent, hello, sweetheart. There's my brother. Hey, Blackhawk. Oh, my Lord. My sweet friend. I was going to bring that cup in here. It's still on the front seat of my car because I didn't have enough hands to carry everything. And I was looking at it going, I need to bring that in for tonight because I wanted to share it. I do have one of my tools of mass destruction, or maybe that's squirrel. Mimi had given me this swishy globe, and I fell with it. It's like, yes, because one of my meditations, Yankee is well versed in it, is Master Co. And so we work on sending, when we're meditating, sending energy and healing to the earth. And so this is my focal point. So it sits right there. And then I have my cup of tea. Hey, Spitfire. Donald. Hey, Donnie. How are you, baby? Where's your brother? Okay, now I'm back down. OG, I gotta tell you, you always make me smile. I love the light in your eyes. And you better give that mama a hug for me, and a hug to the baby OG. Who knows, maybe like we're having out here in Houston, a Texas meet and greet of YouTubers. We just did this Sunday. We were there in Houston from about 12:30. I left at 3:30. They went on to go and have manicures and pedicures and all that. They were just too far for me to go there and then come back up here because I wouldn't have been home till like 10. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And beautiful Black Hawk, she showed up. And this woman, just an ebullient, beautiful ball of joy. And what is today? Today's Tuesday. He doesn't have a gun show. See, squirrel, I can be distracted at a drop of a hat. That's why it's good for me to not pay attention to the chat because you guys will have me running in circles like a dog chasing my tail. But that's okay. I love you. I'm just being silly at the moment. Uh, Thank you, Blackhawk. Thank you very much. So, let me entertain you. Again, this is episode 1 of a weekly live Coffee, Tea, and Soul. All kinds of little tidbits and tricks to fill your evening. Just various different things. So let me tell you about today's study. If you're not into health or you just really don't want to hear it, that's okay. I understand. I hope the music is soothing. If you can hear it, let me know, please. Give me a yes. So if you notice that you experience things like neuropathies, fingers and feet tingles, problems sleeping, even sleep apnea, snoring, a bit of asthma, let's see, panic attacks out of the blue, anxiety that comes up. Before I go on, I am not a doctor. I study like them, but I'm not a doctor. My husband has said that I should have gone and trained anyway, just because, but nah, too much money to spend on a system that I really have difficulty with. So anyway, there is a vitamin deficiency that can cause all kinds of, we'll say diseases. It's not really causing the disease, but it will mimic a whole slew of them. So let's see. The neuropathies we think about with diabetes and stuff, the nerve things. Well, B1 is like the big culprit. Having low B1 is called beriberi. You may have heard of that, from some of the old, what was that guy's name? I can see it. Humphrey Bogart. He did the African Queen. But, there were all these diseases that people would come up with, and we'd hear these odd names. So beriberi is a B1 deficiency or a B vitamin deficiency. They even can tie SID, sudden infant death syndrome, into a B1 deficiency, which is like, wow. So that was my day today. I spent about 4 hours roughly studying about B1 deficiencies and all the different ways that it can show up. Like if you happen to rub your calves and they always seem to be tender, that's actually points to B1 deficiency. Snoring can be sleep apnea. I think I already said that. The myelin sheath, which, it covers your nerves and everything. You need that B1 to protect the sheath. So remembering this, feeling kind of, this in sign language means stupid. It's like I knew better, and I don't always take care of myself because I'm taking care of everybody else. Donnie knows this. Anyway, it was just kind of like, it is time for me to get back on taking care of me. So this is also going to be kind of my journey, and you're welcome to come and join me. If you're familiar with Pink Motivation, I love that woman to death, or to life, I think is a better way to say it. And she's invited me to participate in an event that's going to be held in Houston on June 26th. And it's not a fashion show, but in a way it is, but you're not, I don't know how to explain it. because I don't have full understanding of it, but it's about your life you're telling your story going from victim to victory. And so I need to write my story on survival, on how I got to here from there. Um, I just don't have a clue how to write it. Thank you, brother, because I have a weird story. And I'm sure everybody can look at their lifetime and say, but my story is weird. I'm never had drug problems, never had alcohol problems. I could take a drink and then not touch it for a year. I could smoke a cigarette and not smoke again for 10 years. There's just never been problems for me on any of that. Games now, well, that's kind of a thing. I'm addicted to those. I have trouble stopping. But I'm missing a lot of my young life I have no idea of. And a lot of strange, unanswered, and, Yankee, what was his name on the channel with you and OG? He wasn't Spitfire. It wasn't Divergent. I don't remember his name. Oh well. Sling Blade, thank you. Now I don't even remember where that went. But yes, Divergent, there was a lot of trauma, and some of this kind of gets into the woo-woo weird stuff. Oh, the paranormal, that's where I was going to go. All right, honey, I love you. I got you here. I got the whole world in my hands. But, I do have childhood PTSD. And also, I am very high on the autistic spectrum. So, undiagnosed Asperger's. I do a lot of the oddities, fixate on certain things that I can't get my brain to break away from. Hi, Sling Blade. I want to thank you here. So what I was getting at though, Sling, with in relation was paranormal doesn't have to mean ghosts and goblins and spirits and things that go bump in the night. It's just things that are outside of what's deemed normal. And so I have, how do you word it? Well, there's a possibility that there were things done to me as a very young child that, I'm lucky to be alive from. How's that? I am lucky to be alive because my youngest daughter's father tried to kill me. So, but, it's like, it doesn't, none of that stuff hangs on me. I know that my path here is to heal people and to help them along. Soul Stitch came about because the soul is integral to all of us, into our being, and sometimes we need a little stitchery to tie us back to our soul, to realize that we really aren't this body. We're puppeting the body. Who we are is the soul. Who we are is this life force that manipulates the body, that thinks the thoughts and feels the feelings and moves us through. Um, and then the body comes through and it's like, I want ice cream. So anyway. Greg, I don't know how to respond to that. But you're very blessed. You know, all our children, even when they come in with what we may perceive or a doctor perceives as a deficiency, is still a blessing because they're here to teach us a lesson. And it's really a lesson about ourselves, how we interact with the scenario. Suffering, that was nice. Hello. How we either get taken over by thoughts and feelings and worries and fears, or we live in faith and trust and love and move through the steps and take each moment as it comes. Love you, Divergent. I probably could. I've never taken the test. I've taken the tests for the CPTSD, for the autism, and a couple other tests. And I don't know if I don't remember if I got tested for the ADHD. I have to look into that. Definitely a bit of attention deficit. I can get very hyper and bounce here and there, and then crash and burn. Like this afternoon, I completely went, all right, nap time. But this channel, because as I was saying in the beginning, I do so many things. I was a bartender, and I used to work multiple jobs at one time. So like I said, when my horse trainer said, do as many things as you can, do them well, you will never be without, I took it to heart. And so I used to be a office manager for a French 4-star French restaurant in California. And then when I left that, I would go and airbrush t-shirts at a mall. And then I would leave, or on the days that I didn't go to the mall, I was a bartender. And that's how I met my husband of 30 years. His band was playing at the bar that I was manager of. So, and we sat on the bar, had a beer, and I proceeded to tell him about all the spirits I could see around him. And he just smiled at me and he never balked. And we've just been here together ever since. It's cool. But my journey has always been about growth. And maybe I was trying in some fashion to pile all these lifetimes together in one sling. That came because I saw Sling Blade. But, you know, so our paths are our own, and we get to walk them with friends and loved ones. And we all have something to share, something to gain. We benefit by knowing one another. We get to see a part of ourselves we don't like. Usually if you meet somebody that kind of gets you at your solar plexus and gives you kind of a, I need to back away from this person. He's doing much better, Black Hawk. He's actually was able to get up and get dressed and leave the house to go next door and get him his cigarettes. So he's He's walking. He's doing fine. Um, thank you for asking. And he's playing his game and yelling at the game company because they did an update and it killed his navy. He has a navy, but he doesn't have a flag. And if you don't get those jokes, gotta watch Eddie Izzard. I love Eddie Izzard. So anyway, we are a mirror to one another. But think of it like I can look in here and see myself. And okay, we're blurry, but I can still see me. But I won't notice maybe something that I might deem an imperfection, whatever. But if the mirror blows it up so out of proportion, then it's like, oh, there it is. There's that pimple. Or I got a line. Whatever. You get the gist. So the people that show up in your life are a mirror to you. And if they've got a thing that kind of grates against you, you got to look at it and say, okay, so how am I like that? What is it in me that's similar? Doesn't mean it's identical, because remember, the universe, God, is not going to bring you an identical reflection, because most of the time we're so used to seeing us that we're blind to anything unless it's blown out of proportion. When it's blown out of proportion, then we notice it. And the minute we get that Geppetto, or I should have had a V8 moment of awareness that, oh, that's what I do that's like that. It's not in the same degree. That's like 100 times more than what I do. This little thing over here that I do is like that. So who do I bug? Must have bugged myself at some point in time that I buried it. Who knows? But when you get that realization, the funny thing is now the teacher, that's the person that showed up, they leave. It can be a life event. It could be a blow up. It could be a just one day you see them, next day they're not. It could be a tragedy. It could, but however they're removed from your sphere, your life, they're removed. I'll give you a funny story. I think it's funny. I dated a guy, very short period of time, like 2 weeks. My daughter was 3 then, and the youngest. And I wasn't even sure about this relationship. It just was like, I don't know. Only went out a couple times, really. And then he wanted me to move in with him, and it's like, I hadn't even kissed him. So why do you want me to move in? And it was just really, really weird. It gave me the heebie-jeebies. So he had my tattoo books, my portfolio with all of the stuff that I had for some reason at his work. He was a mechanic. And I always saw that shop anytime I drove up and down the road, even before I knew that that's where he worked. So here comes life directing things. And I'm driving down to go see him, to go get my books. And I have this Geppetto moment, literally like shocked me. It's like, he's so needy. It's cloying, clinging. You want to peel it off because it's icky. And then I went, oh, I'm clingy. Not like that. There was no, I got to have you, I can't be without you, clutching. It was just, okay, I get it. Oh my goodness. And it literally kind of gave me this full body jolt of aha. And so I get there and I pull up and get out of the car, and he comes walking up to the car, and I'm smiling, and I see he's got a full chain of hickeys all around his neck. Didn't say a word, didn't stop smiling, just, where's my books? I think he was expecting me to disembowel him. And I didn't. I just went in, took my stuff, said thank you, see you later, bye. Got in my car, tootled off to wherever I was going. And I never saw him again. He never came to the little bar. And I mean, I'd seen him for years at the bar that I managed. So never saw him again, never saw him at the store. And my awareness of where his building was, where he worked, because I drove down that road to get from work to my house all the time. That awareness, I never even noticed this ugly yellow mechanic building. It just was like gone, completely, utterly erased. And yes, I stopped being clingy. I recognized that in me, and it was like, whoa, what a trip. So that's my funny haha, because I thought it was funny. Because, I had the option of going nuts, but I wasn't emotionally invested. That person was only there to show me a part of me, to go, hey, woman, that's not a good look on you. So there you have it. Does anybody have any interesting stories of when life came along and showed you a part of yourself and you went, ah, and then it all went away? And does anybody want to come up? Because I would be happy and honored to bring you up and chat. And if you hear a little bit of whining, that's my big boy in the background. But I'm not sure what he wants. I don't remember who it was, but somebody asked me to do a meditation, and I will be recording that tomorrow and probably uploading it Friday. Okay, we have conversation going on. So I'm happy to take requests for people if there's something that they want to work on, any kind of process. I will be taking a pranic healing class, level 1 in Houston next month on the 17th and 18th, I believe it is. Pranic healing, the word prana means life force. And thank you. Coming back. Hi, nice to see you. So we'll be doing that. I've been a student of healing since I was, since I was 7, because my mother, I'm pretty sure, was the reason for it. Who knows? Or it could have been my next door neighbor, the one that told me that I used to put my hands on people when I was 4 to stop the pain. And I know I always reached out to the animals, but I don't have any clue or memory before age 7. And it was probably in the middle of age 7. I don't think it was didn't turn right on at 7. But well, Divergent, I am sure that the universe brought you here because that's kind of the same path I'm on. But I'm here to help others. So I'd be happy to share everything that I know. And don't talk to Pink, because Pink will tell you I know too much. And I'm only teasing her. Hopefully she might be out there, excuse me, in the ether. But Pink's the reason why I'm here. She's the one that gave me the courage to speak and to present. I've always wanted to teach to a large audience. but there's still insecurities that I struggle with. And I'm sorry for the reflection on the glasses. I was looking for my other glasses that was sitting right here, and then I put my notebook right here because I figured maybe I'd have to take some notes. And they have walked away, and they're not on my head because usually I'll have a pair up here and a pair on my face. Go figure. But anyway, um, there is an interesting statement from, was it Bodhisattva? No. I'll have to look it up. Oh, of course, now my video driver says we have an update. I'll have to come back to you on that because I don't want to give the wrong name. But basically, in a nutshell, it was talking about how smart God was. Because God didn't just speak to one people. He spoke to everybody, but in a way that they could understand. And what I am planning on doing, there are 2 other programs, I'm going to call it, and they will be pre-recorded. They won't be lives. Though that could change in a drop of a hat because I am letting Spirit guide me on this to tell me, well, we need you to do this today. So one of the channels or one of the programs is grandmother medicine. Now here's an interesting thing that in South American culture, the Amazon shamans and stuff and whatever, the people there, grandmother medicine is ayahuasca. And if you're familiar with ayahuasca, it's plant medicine, but it's a spiritual journey. Walter, what are you doing? Noise over there. See, distractions for me are my downfall. Sound and I'm there, and then whatever it was I was going to say is gone. And so yeah. So these recordings are probably going to be really interesting. I'm sure I'm going to have to script everything, otherwise squirrel. But anyway, so it was interesting in doing all my research about grandmother medicine that ayahuasca, the plant medicine, it's a hallucinogen. It's kind of like doing, the Native Americans with the peyote, and I think there was one other one, but I can't remember it. But anyway, where they eat it and they vomit and that just, sorry, but I cannot throw up. I have full body reactions to vomiting. Literally, I have had blood vessels just broken out all across my chest because my muscles, my entire body from my toes to the top of my head contract when I vomit. And I know that's not a fun topic, but I mean, everything just goes into massive contraction. It's physically painful to such a degree. And then nothing happens. It's misery, shades of being tortured. So I can't imagine doing ayahuasca myself, because in the little drinking the tea, you do have that moment of vomiting, and then you have a release of DMT, and you go off and have a very spiritual communion on the ether. Uh, but so grandmother medicine is going to be where I will share information on healing through plants, through food, recipes. Um, I had dropped to segue, it's still part of grandmother medicine. I had dropped from almost 300 pounds down to 215 pounds. And a year ago, this past Christmas, which 219, I jokingly say I tried to cut my foot in half. I stepped on a huge piece of glass that cut in at an angle, which is the blessing. And it was really thick glass, so it didn't slice through the plantar, didn't damage any of the tendons. Just made one bloody mess, and it was huge. And I took care of it myself because I don't go to doctors. It's just my preference. I don't trust them. In 60 years, 63 years, whatever, they have never, ever diagnosed me properly. So yeah, no. I don't want to be a mistake again. But anyway, I put back about 50 pounds because of eating bread. Because my husband, since I couldn't walk and I couldn't cook for several months and I couldn't drive, he would go and get Jack in the Box and Burger King and whatever and order pizza. And I hadn't eaten carbs in 2 years. I just stopped eating them. Plant carbs, things like, the broccoli and Brussels sprouts and, minuscule carbs in that route, but no other carbohydrates like the breads and the cereals. And I still don't eat cereals. And I try so hard, but breads are my downfall. I got mad at myself at the meet and greet with Black Hawk and Pink and everybody because there was this yummy little loaf of bread. And so I cut off a chunk and buttered it. It was like, oh, it was heaven. And it was like, and then I went and I had another piece. I think I had 3 pieces. Terrible, terrible. Here's an interesting fact that I learned from Dr. Weir. He's the big famous doctor out on, I don't even know if he's still alive though, but Dr. Weir had said that when he was in medical school, and I did do medical school for a very short period of time, but my then husband he wouldn't let me go to school, basically, we'll just put it that way. Decided to drop out. Bummer. But anyway, he said that in his time in medical school, that only one time in the entire years of study did the word healing ever come up. And that was in the first year. I believe it was in the first semester. But it wasn't even about healing the body, because that's not their focus. It was wound healing. And that was the name of it. And that was all it was about. It had nothing to do with healing this. And unfortunately, many doctors do just throw meds at you because of symptoms. And see, that's the cool thing about learning about this B1 deficiency, is that it mimics so many diseases. And so you might be having diabetes symptoms. You might be having neuropathies. You might be having digestive issues. So SIBO and just all of these different stuff. And yet, if you just eat a better diet with the B1 in it, or supplement with a good fat-soluble B1, that a lot of that can repair itself. And it was like, wow. And I mean, I was surprised at, I think there was like 10 or 16 diseases that having a B1 deficiency mimics. And so if you come in there with that symptom and all it is B1, for buffering again, there we go. For $24 at a good health food store, buying a good quality vitamin, you can begin to, supplement. And there's, find a good doctor that will listen to you and run specific blood tests, and you can go and look those up. Well, here's the thing about your B vitamins. They all require the presence of at least 2 other B vitamins. So B1 by itself, I can't tell you off the top of my head what it requires in order for the body to assimilate it and to utilize it. But B12 requires B3 and B17 in order for the body to utilize it. So people who get the B12 shots, they find that it works some of the time. It doesn't continue to work after a period of time if they're not eating foods that give them that additional supplementation of Bs. You could real simply get what's it called? Nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is better than brewer's yeast. It tastes better. It's a better quality, and you can sprinkle it on your salads. I put it in my meatloaf. I'll sprinkle it in the meatloaf, and I use pork rinds, and I'll grind them up into like breadcrumbs, and I'll put those in the meatloaf instead of bread. A lot of times I don't even put that in. It's just my whatever vegetables and a slew of spices. Turmeric is an excellent thing to add to your diet because of the healing benefits of turmeric. Trying to think. There is a Mediterranean or Eastern spice called sumac. I love the flavor. It's kind of reddish. And we even have sumac here in Texas. It's not the poison sumac. It's a different sumac that's actually edible. But the sumac imparts kind of a lemony flavor, but something else. And so my main spices that I cook with are the sumac, garlic, lots of garlic, pink Himalayan salt, because Himalayan salt contains 85 different minerals. Well, you never said to do it, so I didn't do it. You got to tell me. Let's see, will it work? Will it work? There it is. Yay. But it's such a rich flavor. And cinnamon goes really well with the sumac, and so does nutmeg. And I use the cinnamon because it's good for blood sugar and a couple other things. And I use the nutmeg also because it's good for the heart. Too much is not. It's knowing, the fine lines, the balance. Everything we do is about balance. So I put the link in there, brother. There, I heard it. It went dink. Drum roll, please. Hello, brother.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Okay,
I'm glad to hear your husband's doing fine.
Yeah. For those that don't know, my hubby, he tripped in the dark coming home from his gig here over a rake, and landed on his knee, and luckily he didn't damage it. He didn't do any fractures or any stuff, so he's good.
That's good.
I agree with you, Divergent. It's cinnamon is wonderful, but now here's something you got to look at. If it's a dark brown, it's not the real cinnamon. If it's a little bit more on the reddish side, that's the real cinnamon, and it's usually more expensive. So the dark brown one, even though it tastes like cinnamon, um, it's actually toxic if you have too much.
It's,
Uh,
it's usually it's usually the bark.
well, it's always the bark. That's what the cinnamon is.
I'm talking
But
about the
there's two kinds.
yeah.
The Ceylon is the one that you want because you know how they got that curl.
Right.
The Ceylon is a lighter color, and it's finer. It's like whereas the brown one, the darker one, is really thick coils, and you can tell the
Right.
difference. And I bought both, and I was going to use that, um, but I didn't think I was going to bring that up right now, or I'd have it here. So how are you, Paul?
Oh, I'm doing better. I think I overdid it today.
I saw you walking all over the place. Of course, you made me a little
Yeah.
dizzy, but dizzy blondes.
Well, seems like people like seeing the place and everything.
Oh, I enjoyed it. It was so peaceful looking.
But the thing is, in the background, you just wasn't seeing how I was walking around.
Well, no, you were not very sturdy, so yeah, I kind of gathered.
and
Um,
but you know what's been going on for the last couple of months with me. So actually today is almost 100%, but better than I've been. Uh, but I think I overdid it. I think I did too much because it was such a beautiful day.
yeah,
And
we were outside overcast.
yeah, I mean, we had such a beautiful day that I just did not want to stop. I just want to keep going. Uh, and I just pushed myself a little bit more than I should have.
Well, for everybody in the chat, who I think you all know Paul, but I'm still going to do this. Excuse me. Speaking of cinnamon, it went down the wrong pipe. Have another swallow, soul.
I'm sorry, I'm a mess.
So, anyway, this is my dear friend, Brother Paul, who has two channels, Yankee Southerner and Walking the Path. And we are going to be partners in crime. On the Walking the Path is his spiritual path channel. I'm giving you an introduction. And we're going to do a spirit talk with Paul and Soul. And 1 week will be on his channel, and then the following week will be on my channel, and we will go back and forth, kind of like playing.
Until we all get dizzy and fall down.
I was going to say that.
But yeah, I'm actually doing good compared to the last 2 months. But it's supposed to rain tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to that.
We didn't have much today. I think it spit on me once.
Well, we're supposed to have thunderstorms, and I'm hoping the weatherman lied.
I just get out there, and if I have to move something so I don't have to worry about it coming down on my head, I will.
Well, me, I left the lawn tractor out of the garage and all that stuff, so I hope it don't rain.
Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't rain tonight either. I don't know if anybody has seen these. There are a bunch of DIY channels where people are making some gorgeous desktop and wall kind of organizers, and out of cardboard. And this one guy made a pie safe out of cardboard, and and that's one thing I forgot to get was wood glue, so I'll probably go out and get that tomorrow. But took several layers of cardboard and literally built the walls and everything, and they were a good inch thick.
Right.
And where he needed to put some wood inserts to screw in um, the hinges. And then the cabinet doors were gorgeous, but they're cardboard. You couldn't tell. They even had the chicken wire inset. I mean, it
Cool.
looked just like it. Uh, this one guy made not a futon, kind of like a bench or an ottoman with a cushion on top and everything, but it was all out of cardboard. And
Huh.
he's laying on there, and he was a good sized boy. And it was just like, so it's inspired me, and I've been going and collecting cardboard because I just don't have space, and so I need to use the walls for things, and so I want to make a couple different kinds of furniture. Uh, I blew up. Did I tell you that I blew up my microwave?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. If for anybody who doesn't know, you can blow up a microwave without anything in it. I got
And
picked.
she's making a coffee station now.
And it's also it's a testament to say, be careful what you ask for. Because I was talking to my girlfriend earlier in the day and was telling I really hate the microwave. I wish I didn't have to. And not even more than like about 3 hours later, I didn't have it.
Right.
It's like, gotta watch what you ask for.
Yeah, but the reason why I worded that the way I did in the comments is once you start asking people to come up, you need to drop the link at that point in case anybody else out there wants to come up.
Oh, I said, let me know and I'll drop it.
I know, but a lot of us don't let people know.
Well, I don't know. Hey, I'm still learning.
Yep. That's why I always drop the link and I go, I just dropped the link. If anybody wants to come up, come on up. But I always drop the link first.
I will get better with that. I promise.
Yeah.
Next week, even better.
Now, what's your show tomorrow night? I know you got a live show coming up tomorrow night, don't you?
No, I don't have anything tomorrow night.
Okay.
Wednesday, tomorrow night, 8:00 though, I'm going to be doing with Master Co. I'm trying to think when he's got it. Tomorrow night might even be the full moon thing meditation. I have to look.
Again? Awesome.
Yeah, the big one's going to be the end of April.
Awesome.
Let me take a look here and see. I know I signed up for it. Come on, puppy.
Oh, excuse me.
And I gotta. Okay, so Wednesday, tomorrow night. It's gonna be at 9:00 my time. Okay, so 10:00 your time. You could go to masterco.org if you wanted to sign up for it. It's his mini workshop, Soul Evolution.
How much does it cost?
Nothing.
Really?
Yep, it's free.
Because usually people that does that usually has
he does a lot of free stuff, and he even lets people, if they want to make a donation, they've got a link for that. His mission, which I really love, is awaken the power of your soul to live your greatest life.
Yeah. Donnie wants you to drop my link to Walking the Path.
Okay. Give me a second here. I have to pull up stuff.
I just seen it as you was talking.
Oh, because I wasn't even near. I'll drop both links. Of course, you could drop your links too,
I can't drop links because I can't go to a different screen.
Okay.
Every time I'm live, either on mine or on somebody else's, if I try to bring up another tab, it knocks me completely off and my computer shuts down.
Gotcha. I don't want to do that. All right. So this is, come on. Where are we at? This is the first one. This is Yankee Southerner. I guess I should write.
And thing is, Yankee Southerner is anything and everything. I have live chats. I have gaming. I talk about books. It's a little bit of everything.
I thought you were going to do a, what do you call it?
No, a lot of people, when people say, drops both links, they expect both channels to be the same and different at the same time. But Yankee Southerner don't have nothing to do with the spiritual walk. And only Walking the Path has something to do with the spiritual walk. I'm still trying to come up with programs for it. I'm still waiting on my big picture that
I know.
is coming to me.
I'll get it. It's just
Hey, I'm
been.
not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry. Y'all get it when it's time. No sooner, no later.
There you go, Donnie. There's both of them. There it goes.
And but a lot of people expect both channels to be almost similar for some reason. And whoever makes two channels that's going to be similar, I don't understand that. But I mean, the spirit just moved on me to where that the spiritual walk should be separate from everything else.
Good. Sorry.
Hello, Divergent.
Hey, sweetie.
How you
I
doing,
stepped
hon?
outside. The kids and the dogs are loud. Thought
You're
I'd have
welcome.
better lighting, but I don't.
What's this Bubba stuff?
You are a Bubba.
No, it's Baba.
Oh.
Well, in the South, that's how we say Bubba.
Where are you at, Paul?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I'm called Yankee Southerner. I named myself Yankee Southerner because I'm actually born and raised in Ohio.
Oh.
And then I moved down to South Carolina.
South Carolina's nice. I lived there for a couple years as a child.
Yeah, but it used to be nicer when it got very little snow and it didn't get cold that much.
No, I understand that.
And now it gets cold for at least 2 months.
There's a place up in Tennessee that I want to go to. I'm remembering the Dancing Rabbit, but I don't think that's the one that's there. But it's kind of like an eco village, and they've got gardens and they have natural using clay and adobe and cob and blah 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 on all the houses and things, and they build a lot of the structures from excuse me, what do you call that? Scavenging. They would salvage. That's salvage, not scavenge. But of course, scavenge is the same.
I think I've heard of that one, but I'm not sure. But like most towns in Tennessee, if it's a decent size, there's at least a commune, which nobody would expect. But like here in my little small town, even there's a commune here. To be honest with you, I think it's a nudist commune, but each their own.
Right.
I think the one I'm thinking of is called The Farm.
Okay, and, yeah, The Farm, I've heard of it.
Yeah, they're
sorry, my dog was on the window.
Central Tennessee.
Where, Tennessee?
It said Central.
Oh, so just Middle Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not giving me specifics. There seems to be quite a few though there in Tennessee from what I'm seeing.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect it, but there's quite a few here in Tennessee. Like I said, there's a lot of communes and so forth. I mean, like the 3 towns closest to me, I know there's one nudist commune, and then there's 2 commune. There's a LGBTQ commune, and the other one I'm not sure, but I know they're a commune.
Hmm.
And the nudist commune's kind of odd because it's an RV park.
That is odd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know.
I guess
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna make fun and just say I guess it's a redneck nudist commune.
I
because
think.
it's been in a RV park.
Oh yeah. Well, I think most of them's like 40 and over that live in the
Yeah.
commune there. But it just, from what I've seen so far, they don't seem to be too rednecky. They're more of hippies.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with hippies.
Maybe it's a redneck hippie.
Maybe. I don't know how you define a redneck hippie though. That'd be interesting to see.
You know, anything is possible.
A hippie that likes nature that don't take crap off of nobody.
That'd be about right.
When I first moved to Texas in '97, we were up in a little it's not a ghost town, but could very well be a little. It was once an oil town. It smells terribly. Oh, I can't stand it there. But that's where my in-laws lived. And so we get there and we're staying with them for a couple months before, I guess just, a couple months before we got, the job and moved down here. And anyway, we went to this Chinese restaurant. And I was in culture shock. Now, I'm a California woman, but I'm just one of the weird ones. People, even I remember 16 years old, and people ask me, "You from Texas?" And I'm like, "I've never been to Texas." "Well, you have a Texas accent." I'm like, "No, I don't. I've never stepped foot out of California." But anyway, long story short, and I know that's a miracle for me. Here's this cute little Chinese waitress, and she's talking to us, and she has a Chinese Texas accent.
Oh.
You could hear the Chinese, you could hear the Texas, and then there was the y'all in there. And I was just kind of like, huh? I was just dumbfounded because I couldn't fathom how do you get that definite Chinese, because there's certain syllables, certain sounds they can't make very well in the English language, and then throw that Texan drawl on it. Was like, what? It was funny. And I just kind of looked at my husband like, huh? But yeah,
it would have been great. It would have been great to hear it though.
It was interesting. We moved into our apartment. My daughter was, I think, 12. I'd have to go. Yeah, she was 12 in '97, and we moved into our apartment down by Houston. And she comes home from school. Oh, we lost Crystal.
Yeah.
She literally slings the door of the apartment open, and it's thunking against the wall. And I look, and she's got this. Welcome back, sweetheart. She
Sorry
has
about
this
that. I was seeing what the horses were doing.
Expression on her face, and it comes out, "Oh my God, Mom, I said y'all." Other than, expressing it, in joke and stuff like this, I still, how many years have we been here? 23 years. I don't use that word. I'm like, it is you all, or you, or, or all of you, You guys. I don't know why, but I refuse. And I refuse to develop an accent.
You letting her out the party?
Well, I mean, like I said, I was born and raised in Ohio, and I've always
Okay, keep an eye on her. The horses have been running. What you must have for?
and I've always said y'all.
I'm gonna go
I love you, Mimi.
I didn't mean to bother you.
Hey, Mimi. Yeah, I've always said y'all. It's not really a y'all, and it's not really a anything. It's just yup. Hey, y'all.
No, I can't do it. I can't. It's like nah.
Love you.
Oh, and
I have some orange water.
I admit it.
Oh, sit. I said sit.
I've been drinking too much soda.
Not listen. Sorry, I thought I had my mic off and just realized I didn't. Sit.
It's okay.
That's okay. I usually talk with the mic off.
My dog's not listening. He's refusing to sit. Husband let both of them out to potty, and mine decided he was staying outside with me.
Yeah,
But,
I have two hidden over here.
I was on OG's live earlier, and they had to tell me my mic was muted.
Get over here. Get over here and sit down. You ain't chasing those horses. I'll whip you.
Oh, that's water tastes good.
He typically won't try to take off after the horses, but they're running today, so it scares me.
Mimi says she's a Yankee to the core, but she loves saying y'all.
I've
I
always
would
said y'all.
never picked you as a Yankee, Mimi.
I was to say I always say y'all, but I was born in Tennessee, so it's just second language for me.
Right.
Well, see,
I'm one of those people that say G.
The funny thing is Californians are not a Yankee.
No.
Honestly, I probably would still be in Ohio if my sister didn't get so depressed that she was almost hospitalized.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry.
So that's why I moved to South Carolina, and I've been with her ever since, taking care of her, and she's been taking care of me, and she never got in that position again. For one thing, I learned if she starts stepping back in that position, the only thing I have to do is piss her off, and she'll cuss me up one side down the other, and get out of it real quick.
Oh. What are you doing?
Yeah, Donnie, he says I've used a lot of them Ewins, Arsons, and names.
Yeah. And me, I love hearing Jeff Foxworthy doing the redneck the dictionary comments.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Jeff Foxworthy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's funny.
My neighbor has been guilty of one of those.
Yeah.
They mowed the yard and found a car.
Yep.
That sounds like my yard.
I never mowed. I never mowed a yard and found nothing, but I did mow a field one time and found 3 motorcycles.
Well, I mean, my neighbors, to be fair, I think it was the field they were cleaning behind them.
But that surprised me, especially the first one, because I ran right over it with a bush hog.
How'd the bush hog make it? That's my question.
It made it pretty good after I changed the blades.
My neighbor was talking the other day. They want to bush hog the field, and I'm like, don't. It gives me a privacy fence.
But but that's what got me into working on small engines and stuff.
Oh, that's good.
What?
Stuff like that.
Oh.
And it's a good hobby to
No,
get
I'm not giving
into.
you anything.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, or anything. It's a good hobby if you don't mind getting dirty and greasy.
I've helped my
If
husband
you
many
have a
times work on the motors.
Huh.
Mimi, these are wonderful. They're a Walmart thing.
I didn't
Let's
know
see, there
Walmart
you go.
had Beetle.
Yeah, the biltong.
I didn't know they had ours don't. I'm sure because mine's country Walmart.
Well, so's ours. We're not big city here. But yeah, this is 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and
Oh,
it's
that's
just
awesome.
I mean it's just done in small. Let's see, there we go. Small little strips. It's
Oh, that's
air
fine.
fried.
Ooh, I got excited the other day just because I found grass-fed beef jerky.
Oh yes. But I pulled up the bag to show you, and all of a sudden, both dogs are like, and then when I tell the little one, I got a little mini doxy, like, I'm not giving you anything. She's like, and turns around and goes back to her little gumdrop. She's like,
Oh, that's sweet. My boxer. Anytime I have jerky, he's my best friend.
get over there. I'm not. I ain't giving, neither one of you are getting anything. Go away. Leave me alone. Children.
And on the air conditioner.
My dog is my best friend no matter what kind of food I have.
Oh, he is too with me, but when I have jerky, I can't even get him off of me. But see, we have another puppy that my husband decided to bring home last year, and she's driving me crazy.
That's what happens.
Deers eat things like nuts and veggies.
What, honey?
Do your dogs like to eat nuts and vegetables?
Yes, especially the one I talked that drove me nuts. She loves veggies and fruits and all kinds of things. And if I have almonds, she will rip my hands open to get an almond or a pumpkin seed.
They like pistachios. The little one doesn't care for the almonds. They love cashews. They love macadamia nuts. Too expensive. They love Brussels sprouts.
Yep.
Especially because I like lay bacon on top of the Brussels sprouts and bake it.
Oh, yeah.
And it just
Well, the youngest of our pack, she's a boxer Australian Shepherd mix.
ooh.
Oh, it's about as bad as a puggle times 10.
Yeah.
And she will be a wonderful dog once we get past puppyhood. It's just puppyhood is hard.
Right.
My
I took
boxer,
care
on the other hand, he's 8
Go
years
ahead.
old.
Wow.
He's 8 years old, so I mean, nothing bothers him.
I think Walter is 11 years old. He's we think a lab mix. He points like a retriever. Well, I know Labrador retriever. But he points like a pointer, and he's got kind of those spots that are hidden under the white, like
Yeah.
some of the pointers do. So, and he's a big boy. He's probably about 80 pounds. And smart. I mean, I can tell him, go drink your water, and he'll go over and he gets mad at me if the toilet seat's down, because he won't leave me. Going out to the kitchen is a no unless I'm ignoring him. Then he will go bug daddy. Daddy, mommy's not paying attention to me. Other than that, he'll just stay, get in front of the bathroom door and then stare at the door like, woman, get over here and lift the lid, or the toilet is empty because he drank all the water. But he won't go out to the full bowl in the kitchen. He won't go out and eat either unless I'm standing there eating.
That sounds like my boxer. Except for my boxer, I can't put him outside the door. He pushes the door open and goes in anyways. My kids are old
Walter.
enough now that they don't run in on me using the bathroom, so the dog had to take it up.
What? No,
No,
don't talk to me.
Now, what's funny about my dog is part pet and part lab, and it's a brindle. And the funny part about it is, if it sees a squirrel, it'll get into the pointing stance.
Oh,
I got a question.
Yeah,
How many times have you put your shirt on inside out? Because I did.
probably 600,000 times in my lifetime.
I was trying to figure out what is that, and then I turned it, and it's like, oh, all the little gem things
Yeah.
are on the inside.
Hey,
Oh,
at least you're at home. My
yeah.
nephew, my other nephew, not the one that lives here, but the other one, came over and says, "Uncle Paul, I need you to go with me to go and find something because he's redoing something in the house." And I had to change my shirt and my pants because they was kind of dirty, and I wasn't going to go to town with him. So I did that, and we got there, and in the middle of the store, he goes, "Uncle Paul, I don't want you to worry, but you have your shirt on backwards, inside out." I said, right there in the store, I just pulled off that shirt, flipped it, put it back on, and he will not go back into a store with me.
Yeah, but see, that's okay for you.
Yeah,
Can't do that.
right. But
Now, it would be
I,
worse if you were wearing sweatpants and had
but
them on inside out.
I thought that was funny because he will not go back into a store with me because of that. Hey,
Black
Fergal.
Hawk telling tales. So Sunday, Pink Motivation, The Real with Lady Tanya, Gwen from God's Chosen Gwen, I think it is. Black Hawk, TT, and TT's sister who just moved here, and Word 52, and Glitter Unique, and I'm trying to think. I think that was it. But there was 10 of us that went to do the meet and greet, and we went to eat at Babbin's. And I'm going to tell you, sorry, hope not to offend anybody, but I will never go back to a Babbin's. A chicken breast smothered in a cream sauce, but it wasn't like a lot. It was just right on the breast with some sauteed spinach, and I think something else, maybe some red bell pepper or something. And then a ball of rice that I didn't want. It was just white rice. It was supposed to be dirty rice. And a very small, what do you call it? Caesar salad. It was $20. It was like, excuse me? That was a $12 meal at best. TT had ordered a cup of gumbo. There was 2 shrimp, and I forgot what else was in it. And it looked just like dirty dishwater. Didn't look like gumbo. And the rice dry on the side. She kind of played with it for a bit and then told the guy, I can't eat this. It was just like, wow. I was just shocked. No, the food was not that good, Black Hawk. But my husband appreciated your shrimp, so thank you for that. And this woman here, I'm going to tell on her, she'll probably hate me for the rest of my life. She did the most amazing thing. Not only did she scare the crud out of Tanya and Pink by running up and, Tanya, Pink! And they're like, who is this white woman? But But she paid for all of our meals. It's like, excuse me.
Well, that was
I,
nice of her.
I was like, oh my Lord. She's wanting everybody to get up, hurry up and get up, because she didn't want anybody to know. So I just blew it big time. She'll beat me for it, I'm sure. She's going to come down for that victory to victim to victory, and then so I'll get to give her big hugs then. And I guess next month they're going up to Dallas to have another meet and greet, and I may or may not take the drive, but if she's going to be there, I'll take the drive so I can hug her, and we'll sit off to the corner and plot. And so yeah, it was amazing. But I mean, I fell in love with her. She's just a bright, effervescent.
That's good.
And don't beat me, Black Hawk, but I do love you. And you never did text me. But we had a wonderful time. I would have liked to have gone to the spa, not to really have any of the treatments or anything, but just to watch them, because they had so much fun. And this was Black Hawk's first time going out in public with Tanya and Pink. And I've already been with Pink and Tanya and Glitter. We had lunch in the town by me, and Pink's always got her live feed on, and it was great. I got to open my presents because I was her Secret Santa victim, I guess. Pink gave me my gift basket. The candles in my bedroom when we had no electricity for the couple weeks that we were down, that was my light. And then one of those soup bowl kind of cups, and it got Solstice 1111 on it. It was like, yeah, it was cool. And then I've got this that I keep beside me. You're gonna laugh. But this is my okay, there we go. This, I think you're supposed to put a candle in it, but it's got all my paintbrushes in it. And so that sits here along with spare glasses in case I, like usual, lose more glasses. And I'm getting ready to paint again. I want to do some handmade bookmarkers, and I'm going to do some watercolor and stuff.
And you're supposed to do what, a aura painting of me?
Yeah, you and I, we got to figure out when we're going to do that.
And you're going to do that live, right?
Yeah. So
there's something for everybody to look forward to.
Yeah,
it's going to be the ugliest picture ever painted because it has me in it.
No. Okay, so Crystal, you were talking about being empathic, and so here we are. But I can see color on people. I see energy, see the aura. And so for years, I used to just paint the aura for people, but I use pastels. So Paul is going to be my guinea pig because I'm going to try it with watercolor. I've never used watercolor before. And I love watercolor because of the depth of the being able to, have another color on top of it. You can get that kind of transparency, and you may not exactly have the true colors, but you can kind of tell, that this is red underneath here and this blue on top of it gives you that little bit of purple and, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. The layering and the transparency together will make beauty with watercolor.
Yeah, so I think that will be very interesting. It's an experiment. And years ago, they diagnosed me with breast cancer. back in, I think, like 2000 or 2001. And I I wrote my affirmations down about the whole thing, but I wanted to record it. We have a music studio here, another building recording studio, and so I went to my husband and said, I want to record this. I want music put to it so that I can play it, and have it just looping and blah blah blah. Well, back in 2000, 2001 and stuff, he was very big on several of the music um, websites. I don't know what you call it. It was like, what's that one? My Page? No.
Facebook. I mean, MySpace.
MySpace. Yeah, the MySpace. It was like that, but bigger, where this was literally people from all over who were, and it was like Sound Garden, I don't know what.
Oh,
But they,
SoundCloud.
no, it was before
Okay.
SoundCloud was even around.
Okay.
But so with the community, and so we went ahead and I had initially wrote it. It was very personal, talking about my breasts and blah, 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 blah. And he went and uploaded it to the dang community. And everybody loved it. And he tells me everybody loved it. I'm like, why did you do that? It was personal. That was for me, not for anybody else. And so he said, well, then rewrite it so it can be for everybody else. So I did. I came back in the house and I sat down and I changed lyrics here and there because it was just me speaking. It wasn't meant to be a song, but I wanted the music to accompany it, to carry it. So anyway, what this is getting to, I still have that out there. It was the #1 in the New Age on that one website for 2 years. And I've got it on one of his channels on YouTube. And what I want to do, because he's lost the master of it, I wanted to drop the music down a little bit so that the words were more prominent than the music was. Him being a musician, the music was more prominent. And so I'm thinking of re-recording the whole thing, and instead of having him go back into the studio and us go through that route, I was going to see about doing it on the computer and try to find any of the Creative Commons kind of sounds, music, the bells and the things that I'd like to lift it and carry it. And then, so that's one of my long-term goals.
I could see that. Maybe different frequencies for different affirmations as you do it.
Yeah. Well, this one's, it was, I rewrote it from being personal to being on a global scale. It's called The Dreamer, and it's about me making a declaration on what all of this should be, but I'm speaking for everybody, so I'm the dreamer for all. And it's I like it. I let spirit come in and say, do this, and so I wrote it just the way it came out. That's in the back of my mind. I spent last week looking for some of the right sounds and trying to think, how do I want it to come in and how do I want it, because I don't want to change the tempo. I just want it to use the sounds, the music. I want it to be a little bit more, I think, ethereal, if that makes sense.
It does.
I was always afraid to share it with people because even though it came out the way it was given to me, I was always worried about how people would take it. So I was amazed that it was taken so well out there on the net. My MySpace page is still up. It surprises me, and it lists it there, but you can't get anything to play. Or of course, it might be because I was using DuckDuckGo, and that doesn't let them track anything. I might have to try a different browser.
2 years back, somebody was talking about MySpace, and I was like, I wonder if mine's still up. And I went and looked, and I'm like, nothing works on it anymore.
Yeah, it's like I was kind of messed up. And I know that somebody had hacked it at one time. I couldn't get in. Do you remember that, like Skype, there was that ICQ?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody stole my ICQ account.
Oh gosh.
It was like, and it was like, I have the weirdest passwords. How could somebody hack my account? It's like, unless they knew me and knew, because like I loved Egyptology, so I had some Egyptian stuff, but I don't talk to people about Egyptology, so it couldn't have been a common thing. So it was just really weird.
Well,
I remember
a good hacker will have a machine, and they'll hook it up and let it play for 48 hours, and that machine will decipher anything and everything within 48 hours.
That's awfully, I find that hard, considering I used, capitals and lowercase, and I used symbols, and I used numbers.
Right.
Actually, the easiest way that hackers get into you, Paul, from being a web designer for years, is they use what's called a phishing page. And it will look exactly like what you're logging into. But if you look at the URL, there will be a slight difference. And that's what it is. And they've got your password because you've already tried to log in before you've realized it.
Right.
Because they'll use a keylogger.
There's just too many similarities here. I did web design for about, 9 years.
Yep. Did it for 8 years, and finally one day just decided it was too depressing and walked away.
See, I keep trying to get back into it, partially because I'm just too cheap to pay somebody else to do it. But all the changes.
Is it for your own website?
Yeah, I wanted to redo my own, and
WordPress platform would be easy enough to make it look the way you want it to.
I hate WordPress.
I got you. I liked building on WordPress. It made it so much easier.
Yeah, no, I tried using it once, and it was like, this is not intuitive, and it was clunky, and
it is clunky, but Joomla is 10 times worse.
Yeah, no, I just want to go straight HTML5 with CSS, maybe throw in code.
I was going to say, did you use Adobe Dreamweaver back then?
Nope, I actually wrote by hand.
See, I've done by hand, but then after a while, I got used to using Dreamweaver, and Dreamweaver, you could probably get exactly what you wanted.
I didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't like it. I did get Coffee Cup.
Yeah, I use Coffee Cup too.
And I do have their, they got two fancy, what do they call that? Well, you know what? When in doubt, just go look at it. Come on. Oh, now my mouth stops. Really? No, don't bounce all over the screen. Just go where I want you to go.
I was to say, Coffee Cup has a
it's kind of like
what you get, don't they?
Well, Coffee Cup has a lot of stuff now. I mean, I still go and check them out because, oops, I didn't want you. Go away. Because technically I can get all my updates for free. What is the word I want?
I think it's funny you guys talking about Coffee Cup, it being on the internet, because in my home county, there's a restaurant called the Coffee Cup.
Oh, cool. Responsive bootstrap builder and responsive site designer, those two.
Okay.
Because it will actually create it, and it's supposed to be pretty, like, you can literally drag and drop like a WYSIWYG and line up boxes the way you want. And then as you adjust the size, it'll go down for tablet and for,
it'll rewrite the CSS for you.
But it was, I don't know, it was just confusing to me, and it's like I don't have the patience for this. It's
And too, a
definitely,
lot of times, what you see is what you get. Editor typically puts extra code in there you have to go in and pull out, which is
yeah.
a pain.
It was just,
I,
it was disappointing because, I expected it to be a little bit more out of the box friendly. Not that it would take me several weeks to learn. And, I'm a smart cookie. I pick up things really, 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 really fast. But this was like just my mindset, it should do this. It wasn't doing it. And I'd
yeah,
follow every step. It's still not doing it. You're doing it there, and I'm doing it here, and it's still not doing it. So, yeah.
I guess that's the reason I got lazy and started using WordPress, because all I had to do then is pull up the CSS to change the look of it. But back then, I think it was just CSS, not CSS 2.0 now, ain't it? Or is it 3.0? I can't remember.
It's 3.0. Because,
3.0.
there was no CSS when I started.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys talking Chinese to me, so.
Now, but see, I went to school for graphic design, but then I wound up going into web design too, because more people were needing web pages than they were needing ads designed.
Yeah. A friend of mine did that. She went into the graphic arts and graphic designing and stuff. She didn't go into the web part. And she was dyslexic, so she had a lot of issues. But she had so much trouble with it. And I would help her with stuff, and it's like I knew more just naturally being self-taught with the graphic designing than she did, and she'd have a problem like, oh, try this, and then, oh, okay, but I love to do graphics.
I love to do. I still have my Illustrator and Photoshop I use on a regular basis.
See, I went to open source. I love GIMP. Still have, I think I have CS5, and I don't know, I've got CS2 too. I used to have the whole entire Adobe suite of CS5. The disk disappeared.
And forgot to
And
deregister.
I don't even remember.
So to say, you forget to register after so many licenses, they'll tell you, oh well.
Yeah, and I won't do it now because I refuse to pay monthly. If I buy the program, I shouldn't have to pay monthly. Sorry.
I've kept it monthly, but I have a kid in art school.
Yeah. Paul, are you okay, honey?
Yeah, I'm good.
You look like you're fit to be tired. Are you tired?
Yeah, that's just part of life.
Oh, you.
Are you guilty of it is what it is, Paul?
Yes, I am.
Blackhawk, I don't know. I haven't noticed any mosquitoes. I know the fleas are out.
Here in Tennessee, everything's out.
Did you get rain up there, Blackhawk? I'm stealing another piece of
Carpenter bees were circling my head this afternoon when I was trying to sit on the porch.
Carpenter bees? Now I know carpenter ants.
We have carpenter bees. They'll bore holes in the wood.
Oh, wow.
I hate them.
Do you have
I like
any
most of nature. Do what?
I was asking Blackhawk if she had any essential oil, because she could take if you open up your windows and you don't mind smelling like a pizza factory, you could take some oregano essential oil and on a cotton ball kind of, wipe the sill. That might help keep them back. Oregano oil, wonderful stuff.
For ants or?
Well, for mosquitoes.
Oh, mosquitoes. Oh, that or lemongrass.
Oh, I got that right here. Ta-da.
Lemongrass works wonderfully for mosquitoes. which is kind of odd considering it tastes kind of sweet.
Well, that's actually what's in this citronella candles is lemongrass.
Yeah.
Well, it's also citronella.
You're right. Well, I'm gonna step down, but I'll keep watching.
Well, do you want to give a last minute plug on your channels, babe?
Well, right now I don't know much about that. What I'm doing on while walking the path besides Sunday nights at 7 is Sunday evening meditation if I don't put it on the wrong darn channel like I did this past Sunday.
Okay, so we have mornings with Paul every so
Yeah.
often, whenever the mood hits you.
On Yankee Southerner, yes. Well, on Yankee Southerner, I'm going to wait tomorrow to see if it's going to be a good day. If so, I'm going to do another outside live. And then Saturday night on that channel, if I'm going to be doing a game. I created a alliance, a rational alliance called the UFW, which is Urban Fantasy Wrestling, and the women are going for the TV championship. It's going to be a tournament.
Oh, cool.
So if y'all want to come check it out, and that'll be awesome. I was going to have it on Sunday, and then somebody today reminded me Sunday was Easter.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I did too, because I don't keep up with holidays. It's America. I remember Halloween and Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving.
The holidays that switch depending on the week and the day that it's on, I'm always lost on. Ones that's always on like the second Sunday of the month or third Sunday. I ain't never going to keep up with that.
Right. But well, stuff like Easter and Christmas and stuff like that, just I don't have no feeling for those holidays since my boy ain't with us no more. And
I understand.
And when he passed away, I kind of just got rid of the holidays within myself.
They can be very hard when you lost loved ones.
Yeah.
I put the Yankee Southerner up for you.
Okay. But it'd be awesome if everybody can come down and check it out. I mean, the characters are going to be like Sheriff Slasher, which is Charlotte Mason. Charlotte Mason is the Sheriff Slasher. We got the Banshee, which is Ruthie, and stuff like that.
You're rotten, Annie.
So,
these are addictive. They're
where
just
are they?
little.
Oh, okay.
It's the
Beef jerky stuff, right?
but it's very.
I'm
It's
gonna
not.
have to try to find those. I never seen them before.
Yeah, just so I can. There you go.
Original Strive.
Right.
I might have seen it. I thought they were dog treats because of the packaging.
Yeah, this was in their snack aisle where they had the beef sticks and the beef jerky.
I was to say I haven't seen that now. My Walmart don't have nothing.
I'm just joking.
I'm
gonna get.
This is the first time I've seen it.
To get decent health food, I have to go through Thrive.
I'm gonna sit down, but I'm gonna keep running on TV. So
love you,
bless
bunch.
You. Love you too.
Have
nice
a great
meeting
day,
you, Crystal.
honey. Nice meeting you too, sweetie.
Sorry, Blackhawk. Didn't mean to make you hungry.
I can eat jerky all day.
Well, I'm trying. One of my goals with the grandmother medicine is the getting back on the low carb, no carb kind of eating, because I felt so much better. And
So
then,
kind of like a clean keto.
kind of like it. Not quite carnivore, but on the edge. Especially, after spending, like I said, about 3-4 hours on the EP1 today, this morning, and finding out Annie is distracting me.
Oh, you're fine.
Annie is a squirrel. I love Aunt Soul so much. Much sees. I can't even say it. Much sees more. Most is more. I'm not
Aw.
have this. I love you most. I love you more. I love you most. This. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to behave anyway. But to learn that eating the bread and eating the sugar and eating, bagels and cookies, and if I had them, I would. I know I would, because I've just gotten to be addicted to carbs, and it's like I don't like this. I can see it in my face that I've gained weight, and I don't like it. Not
Well, see what?
because of appearance, just I don't like that. I feel physically uncomfortable. I feel tired.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
So that's my goal, and I figured, either I figure this live will probably be, carrying that. This week I did, and this is how I feel from that. And so I've got technically 3 new things.
Okay.
Of course, I'm getting it here. Tell you what, I am leaving you in charge, and I'm going to go run and grab it, and I will be right back.
I was gonna say I can't see chat because I'm on my phone.
That's okay. You could talk away, and
I was to say, is there a way I can see chat or? Ooh.
well, I don't know how you would do it on the phone. If you're on the YouTube side,
I can. Give me 1 second. My phone has a dual thing. Let's see if I can engage it.
all right. Well, I will be right back.
Do it.
Everybody have patience. It will only take me maybe at the most 2 minutes, as long as I don't fall down and go boom.
All right, sweetie. Be careful. Don't fall. Okay, let's see. Okay, phone be on ring. It's gonna be on ring. Let's see. Say I'm not very entertaining. But I'll show what I do have that's in somewhat entertaining. Oh God, that thing's filthy and dirty. Can you see them though? See if I can turn the light on. Not to. Where is my flashlight? Nope, it can come on. My camera's on, of course. Oh, there's my lavender. You can't see. And then my other stuff you can't see, which is my Ireland mint. Try to show my lavender and you can't see nothing. Can't even tell that's lavender.
Actually, no, it looks like rosemary.
This is what I'm saying. You can't even tell. See, there's a bud. You might can see if I get real
Oh
close.
yeah, kind of, sort of. I wish I missed my garden. So here
I ain't
are
got a garden. I just got a little porch thing.
I don't even have a porch. So here's my experiment, right? Trying to get me back on path. This is Bulletproof XCT oil. It's a mix of the caprylic and the capric acids. So they're medium chain triglycerides.
Yeah, MCT oil.
Yeah, but they're the specifics. They're not the generic. Whereas if you just get like coconut oil or the quote unquote that list MCT, they have the C6, 8, 10, and 12.
And with the caprylic, you'll kill any gut bacteria that's making you want those carbs.
This one is straight C8. So this is straight caprylic. I think I get caprylic and I get C8 and C10 mixed. And oh, wait a minute, I saw these glasses sitting over here. Oh, I know which ones these are. What did I got paint on it? Probably. We are going to double it up because then we can read. Maybe. This one, okay, so the C8 is the caprylic acid. And and the capric acid is the C10. So this is the mix of the C10 and C8. It just says 14 grams. It doesn't tell me whatever else in it. There's 130 calories. They're saying 1 tablespoon. So yesterday's experiment, can't really see. That was rude and obnoxious. I put this one, just a standard spoon in my tea. And I wasn't wired. I didn't have any jitters, nothing. It didn't amp me up or whatever, but I was comfortable. I liked it because even though it doesn't bother me to put coconut oil or butter in my coffee, this only had a slight bit of an oily feel, but it didn't float on top. It was like it mixed completely into the hot water. This one, wait, there we go. I did this morning in the coffee, and I felt better mood. I felt clearer in my thoughts. I maintained a level mood. There was no up and down there was nothing. Didn't get frustrated. It was just, everything was smooth sailing. And again, there was no jitter, no, I've got this energy, I've got to go. And it just was smooth sailing. It was really cool. So my goal is to do this every morning, and I'm putting it in my husband's coffee too. And he didn't balk about it, so that's a good thing. And again, just that little bit of an oily texture, but it wasn't floating oil on the top or anything. So it wasn't nasty. I don't have the little hand blender to like put the butter and the coconut oil in it and foam it up. But this was great. It was good. It felt good. It tasted good. And I still feel kind of like I'm up, I don't know. Well, I mean, you might be able to relate, feeling kind of like up here, this levelness in my head.
The fog's been removed almost.
Yeah, and it's just level. It's just like, this is cool. I can think, I can articulate. Then I went and got, let's see, how do we do this? There we go. That one little glare, it's like, really? Do you have to do that? I don't think I'm going to get away from it. Maybe, is there something like it? Nope. All right, well, anyway, this is my B1. It also has B12 and B6 in it. And I started taking that. So, all right, Black Hawk, I love you bunches. You have a sweet, sweet, sweet night, sweet sleep. I will talk to you soon. Call me. And thank you again. I love that cup. She got me a coffee cup with a dream catcher on it. And it was just like, yes, that's me. My Native American heart. Thank you, baby girl. I appreciate that. I have 164 hours. Woot.
When I first started my healing journey, I was listening to, I'm sure you've seen it on YouTube, the Native American morning prayer.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You haven't? I used to listen to it every morning because it lifted my mood. And it was basically just thanking Mother Earth for what she provided. But in Cherokee.
I'll have to go hunting for that, or maybe you can next time you think of it, share the link.
All right, I can definitely.
I used to, there was long time ago, actually since 2001 till a couple years ago. I used to be, I don't know if you heard of Second Life, but I used to play on that. Had a whole community. It was wonderful. And a friend of mine is actually Native American, and he went all over Houston and other states to teach, to look at artifacts for different people, but also to teach things like about the sinew, and so do little kid programs to give them survival skills and stuff. And
I don't openly say it typically, but I'm supposed to be a quarter Cherokee, but I never seen the proof. But my grandmother, you could look at her and see it, but I'm blonde-headed and blue-eyed because my grandfather was blonde-headed, so I don't ever mention it. I don't see how I came out blonde-headed. I'm a quarter Cherokee and an eighth Mongolian.
Oh, wow. I love the Mongolians. Well, I'm supposed to be Italian and Spanish. But there's a couple other, I think there's some German there.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of German for me.
But, again, with the weirdness of my life, my mother hid my real father from me until I was 16 and going to court for a rape case. And she waited till out there in the waiting area in front of the courtroom to tell me, you know how you're always saying Tom's not your dad? It's like, yeah. Of course, I don't remember that, but and she said, well, he's not. And that's kind of like, you're picking now. I got to go in that room and go and
thanks for taking my head unleveled.
But I just kind of looked at her and I was like, okay, so who is? And then she was like, well, his name is Billy Ray or William Raymond or, and she could. It's like, how do you not know my father's name? You married him. So there's a lot of inconsistencies or maybe incongruencies with things that my mom, like she got mad at me one time. I was an adult and talking to her about stuff, and she said, you were being negative. And it was like, so what's wrong with being negative? I just kind of looked at her. I should have asked her, like, well, why was I being negative, and what's the matter with that? She just got angry over the weirdest stuff. And I don't know if I am.
I was raised by a woman that I thought for years was narcissism until I've been working with the current therapist I'm working with, and it's that she was emotionally immature to the level that her trauma probably started so early she never got past the mentality of a 4 or 5 year old emotionally. So, because when you think of a 4 or 5 year old, they have narcissistic traits.
Yep. And it's mine and me, and you're doing for me and gimme, and I've always said, even before learning all of these things, that my mom did the best she could with the tools she had. She was not a good
long time to get there, but I understand exactly what you're saying. For the longest time, I blamed her, and then I really stood back and I looked at what she went through, and I was like, hell, she done a good job considering that she had no more than what she had.
Yeah.
I can't say that I could have done the same.
I don't know. The universe, God, gave me an understanding. So I was forgiving her even when I was 17 years old and this stuff was coming up. It was just like, okay, whatever. And just went on. But even still, and now coming up on 63, because there's so many gaps And here's the conspiracy theories for you. It's quite possible I was one of those children that the CIA was experimenting on in the 60s.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it. It started with an M.
Well, there was the MK Ultra stuff, and then there
Yeah,
was
MK
other things. But there's another group. And see, my husband had read a document that was in the CIA library that outlined and this was written in 97, and it outlined all of the things that they did. There was over 2 million children they experimented on, and the experimentation started in the 50s. And I lived in the area, and I mean, I was sitting with my friend just a few days ago, and it's like, okay, so in 1963, these two people, who the one was a bookkeeper or a secretary, the other one was a salesman, how did they afford a brand new, never lived in home? And at that time, 19,000 was a pretty hefty price.
Oh yeah.
And then in 65, I guess. Yeah, 65. I was 7, and my stepfather bought a 25-foot sailboat as a
Wow.
salesman selling copiers.
My wind's blowing. Sorry about that, honey, if you hear any noise.
Oh, that's okay. It's kind of soothing. And then there was the neighbor next door who tells me stories of me being 4 and standing in this garden with her and me doing things on a very adult level. I didn't have a lot of emotion. And just and I perceived things that it was strange. And then when I was 7, so here's everything that ties into 7: the boat, going next door to our neighbor's house for weekly meditation classes.
Oh wow. At 7, I wasn't thinking none about meditation.
Yeah, well, my parents weren't hippies. There was nothing hippie about them. If anything, that would have been, I guess, yuppie or preppy, or I don't know. But
Yeah.
all of that weirdness. And I'm still like, so who were these people? Who was my mom? My mom told me a story of being pregnant with me. And I'm logicking, she would have had to be around 7 months to 8 months, maybe even 9 months. I don't know. And she said that she was at the gun range. And at the time of being told the story, because it was kind of like a funny ha-ha, it never rung a bell. Gun range? You've never had a gun since, I've ever seen. And what would you be doing at a gun range? And why when you're pregnant? And she said she was walking past the guys, and they all started shooting at once. And she said, I just went boom with both hands and both feet.
You were
So
startled.
my mom, the action. But now it's like, what the heck were you doing there? Pregnant with me? What kind of facility allows a pregnant woman there? So now all these weird conspiracy theory questions. It's like, it's just weird.
Yeah, it is a little weird to be wanting to be at a gun range that far along, because one stray bullet and that'd been the end.
Yeah, but even too, think about it. If they're all lined up shooting and she's walking behind them, they don't allow people walking behind.
Mm-mm.
So I
Almost
don't
sounds
know.
like a military base.
My mom wasn't in the military. Now my biological father supposedly was, but I can't find anything of him. I found his death certificate. That's all I've been able to find. And I finally found a marriage certificate slip online, but I can't find anything else. I can't find his birth certificate. I can't find anything other than a couple census reports, and he's only in a couple of them. It's like all of a sudden he's missing in the other.
Was he born in the U.S.?
He's first generation Italian.
Okay. Because I know during that time, as long as you done certain things, you could serve in the military, even as not a U.S. citizen. So I thought that might be an option.
No, he was born, I think, either in Hawaii or Long Beach. I forget which. In 1928, I think it was. So he was
Okay.
3 years older than my mom because she was born in. So yeah, all this weird stuff. And I'm still.
Sounds like an interesting story, though. When you can, you should try to put it to paper. And that's really hard. I get that. I've been told I need to write my story 100 times, and when I try to, I get stopped. But I think the reason I have is my story isn't complete.
Well, I mean, I'm
There's
still
something
here.
I've missed.
I'm not planning on going anywhere for a long time. So, I mean, my story isn't, but it's
Oh, no.
still. There's all of these weird inconsistencies. How was it that I could do what I could do when I did it? Ninth grade, I was in algebra. Me and the teacher, or maybe it was eighth grade. I don't remember one of those two. And the teacher and I did not see eye to eye. Matter of fact, I think it was seventh grade because I had been to Europe when I was 12. No, eighth grade because I think it was after seventh grade I went to Europe. But anyway, I was 12 and I picked up the writing habits of the numbers. So I looped my ones, and the sevens had the line drawn through it like an F. And I failed my test, and I went back to the teacher, and it's like, why? I had to point out that's a 1, not a 7. That's a 7, not an F. And then, I passed that. But I could answer problems in algebra without scribbling all the stuff down. But they wanted to see how I got there. It's like, I don't know how I got there. I just looked at it, came up and wrote down the number. I don't know. I didn't think 2 + 2 x minus y over z plus, whatever, because I couldn't do that. And then after that, I guess I stopped doing math altogether. And so math is one of my toughest subjects.
It's funny you say that. I went through a similar occurrence in school, and honestly, I got my GED in my 9th grade year because I was so fed up with the school system that I just went to my mom and I was like, Mom, I am not meant for the school system the way it is. I said, please let me get my GED, and she put me into class.
Yeah, I don't think that because I don't know if they even had GED. We did all the stupid statewide tests. I was in the top 1 percentile in California, whatever the heck that means. And then they stopped doing that. I think by the time I was in 5th or 6th grade, it just so I'm kind of on a hunt. Excuse my French, for anybody with sensitive ears, who the hell is soul? Because I don't know. I'm just me, and I don't have pretense, and I don't have an agenda other than spiritual growth. That's like my driving factor is spirituality and healing people, to heal others. And that might be a boon on the autism, is that I can't think that way. Everything is really cut and dry for my brain, and I will fixate on the stupidest stuff. Does your son fixate on things?
I have all kinds of things I deal with in my house. I have 2 children that's ADHD, one that was actually believed to be autistic, still shows signs of it. Have an autistic niece, and be honest with you, I have the one that they say is autistic. Everything's black and white. It's one way or the other, and that
Mhm.
is it.
Yep. And if you know you're right, you can't let go.
Hmm.
And that's one of my biggest problems. And so it's been a lesson for me to just bite my tongue, you know, and it's like I know I'm right, and I can't let it go. I can't let it go. And it drives me nuts. But I just now reread what Annie wrote. If oil floats to the top, it can't swim. Aunt Soul save it. I kept
That means
looking.
it just floats to the bottom quicker in the end.
I kept looking at if oil floats, and that's as far as my brain would go. And then I went back to talking, and I finally stopped. And go, what?
But what I was going to say, and this may sound stupid because you're more spiritual, but ask yourself why you can't let it go. What about that bothers you? Why you don't want to let it go? What question will it answer?
I've tried that, and it comes back to I don't know if I love you, Annie, so very much. I don't know if you're capable, and I hate that word. That's not what I mean. But if you experience the sensations in your body of where things are going on,
Yeah,
I do. I can feel in my brain where something like disconnected.
yeah. It's something
And
I struggle with the CPTSD, but I get what you're saying.
yeah,
Because I kind of deal with mind and body disconnect, which is my journey of trying to reconnect the two.
welcome to whoever showed up back in the chat. I love you. Welcome, welcome. Give me a thumbs up. I am happy to hear it.
Because come to find out, I'd been experiencing anxiety for years and didn't know what it was. I thought it was something wrong with my body, not my mind.
It helps with anxiety. It helps with healing the myelin sheath on the nerves. It helps with brain function. It's like people who might have Alzheimer's or experiencing, like the first memory loss, dementia and stuff. The B1 has shown amazing things. So hey, it's a vitamin. It's worth a shot. What the heck?
Oh yeah, I've recently started taking magnesium citrate and a magnesium malate, and it's helped a lot. I think I may have had a magnesium deficiency.
If I could share with you, the magnesium citrate only good for the bowels.
Yeah, I have IBS and SIBO.
Okay.
Dibosis too. That's why I take it.
Go grab
I
the
think I
B1.
may have a methylation problem when it comes to my B. That's the reason I think my B12 is high. And I recently bought methylated folate. I'm gonna start trying.
Get yourself a really good B complex, just a solid B complex, because, like I said, all the vitamins require other B vitamins present to help. And having a good diet obviously helps, but yes, it does, Annie. But this adding the B1, adding other things like adding a little extra, not for you, but B12 if you think you need it, along with the B complex. It's like let your body talk to you.
Yeah. And that's what I've recently been trying to do, because I don't know if I had told you in another live, but I had started to see a herbalist. And when I seen her, she had put me on a Palo de Alpo, I think it is. I can't ever say it right. It's the tree root. Palo de something.
Palo Santo?
I think so. May have been it. No, they don't sound right.
Mm-mm.
It's a tree bark. It's an antiseptic. Yes. She put me on that and biotin and actually Bilex, which is an ox bile and all the liver enzymes and stomach enzymes, because she basically, because I had got a biome result, she basically told me, honey, your gut is messed up. Because I had the highest percentile, like within the 5 percentile of biomes, how many microbiota you have, I had too many, like way too many.
So SIBO, too much
Yep.
overgrowth and stuff. The B1
That's
will
why
help.
when you mentioned the nutritional yeast, I'm like, well, yeah, but will it feed my candida?
No, it won't. And the B1 will help with the candida as well. It'll help with
It will.
SIBO.
Oh, definitely does. 'Cause I've heard people say it tastes great on certain foods.
Yeah. It by doing the nutritional yeast along with I'm just gonna, I am not a doctor, I am not prescribing, but I would, if I were in your shoes, I would pick up a bottle of a good combination B1, either a
Yeah.
straight B1 150 milligram, or like this one is the 150 milligram B1 along with 125 milligrams, I think it was, of the B6 and B12.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't mind taking
the
the
wonderful
B1 or the
thing,
B6, but my B12 was like in the thousands.
but here's the thing, is if you are taking it as a supplement and you're drinking water, the body will flush it out.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. And see, that's the thing that made me angry with doctors, because when I was trying to talk to them seriously about how to fix myself a while back when I was saying, I was like, okay, my B12's high. I get that. But there's other nutritions you need to check for. And like, I'm scared to take certain multis because you tell me that's high. Will I flush? And she's like, well, it won't hurt you either way. That was not my question.
Yeah, my findings have been, well, my experience has been with most doctors, people think that they that the moon and sun, rise and set with them because of their training. But the thing is their training is limited. It only goes so far. They
They're
do
meant
not
to,
study
since doing
heavy,
that, I've been taught they're meant to be interventionalists. They're crisis. That's it.
and even then, it's like, like I was saying, Dr. Weir explained, first year of medical school, healing came up only one time, and that's the only time in the whole, you know,
Yep.
experience of being in medical school. And it wasn't even about healing the body; it was about wound healing. Um, but they don't know nutrition. They don't know, your cardiologist, unless he actually sits down and does further research, knows nothing about gastrointestinal or,
Mhm.
you know,
Which is amazing because the heart is
yeah,
practically connected to the gut.
doing, there's some vagus nerve stuff you could try that will help not only with your anxiety, it will help with some of the CPTSD, but it will help your gut too.
The HRV breathing, because I am doing that already.
Are you doing the eyes?
I do EDMR with my therapist only. Is there also another way with eyes too?
I'm not sure about the term EDMR, but like laying in bed, you put your hands behind your head and like
Okay,
put your,
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I watched a video about that, but I never tried it. I know
I've done it
it's
and
a
I've experienced, and plus I was a massage therapist along with, I've done Reiki and Rehutic and,
oh yeah.
studied all of those.
To be honest with you, it amazes me. That's all stuff I'd be interested in. I've told my husband 100 times, I'm like, I would just love to learn how to help people heal correctly because I'm done with doctors.
Well, here's cool things. So we got a lot of people who are aware of and okay with acupuncture. But
Yeah,
if you bring up traditional Chinese medicine, then they're freaking out on it. And it's like, but acupuncture. And
yeah, and like honestly, the U.S. is the only medical field that believes the mind isn't connected to the body, and I don't understand that.
I
Because
know,
if you read the body keeps the score, it tells you most of your health ailments come from the mind.
well, I mean, if you get into the energy, remember that your thoughts are energy. Every thought you've ever thunk is still here in your energy field. And until you actually go in and get rid of it, it's still present. And so, as an energy worker doing energy healing and being able to see energy on people, you start to recognize that within the inner aura, we'll call it, there's disease that is out here before it ever comes in here.
Yeah.
And and you've got proof of it. The Carillion photography, where they've taken somebody who's had an amputation, and yet all fingers are still showing, even though they're missing the hand, or they're missing a leg, or they're missing the foot. And it's like the
And
energy
even the
body.
mind processes it because they have the phantom pains.
Well, that's what the mind's doing, but the energy body still exists.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's cool. I have started, but I haven't. Admittedly, I haven't gone back to work more on it. There is a thing called Buy Me a Coffee, and I'm putting together people to go buy for $1, $3, whatever, and a couple freebies, and I'm going to work on a membership and all this other stuff that I can link to my YouTube, and then there's that. But some of the things that I've already started putting on there is about the auras and different things about healing. I did Reiki. Well, I mean, I still do it because I've studied so many, and I'm getting ready to study another one. But it's like each one plays into the other. They claim difference, but there isn't. And the pranic healing, I'm enjoying so much. I sat in on a Zoom class a couple weeks ago, and this is my left shoulder, believe it or not. I'd have to lift it like this, and then turn it, and then I could lift it, but I could never get it any more open than that. And that's been like that for more than 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And chiropractors haven't fixed it, and I can't work on myself. I've gone and put my elbow against a wall and then twisted my body to try to get it to open, and then pull on the muscles and try to get the fascia to release, and all of this other fun stuff. I sat in that class, and it was a freebie on from the pranic healing group that I'm working with, and it was just simple moving of the hands and pulling the energy and throwing it into my bowl of salt water, and just, or imagine I think they were doing a light green flame, and I can now move my arm all the way up and open it, and it was less than 2 minutes of just combing it off of me. It was like, pick a spot, any spot that you're having some issues, and I was like, okay, this is easy, and I just followed through in everything that they said. And then I went, oh my, I can straight arm up. I have armpit. I could shave. So, yeah. My little miniature weenie, she's got some issues. And I had just finished doing that. And I was just all jazzed and energized, and so I'm holding her like a little baby, and I start combing on her, and that little tail's just going, and she was just she was loving the energy. It was so cool. And what are you doing over here? You don't belong over here. What do you want? What do you want? Go on, get back over there. Get over there. I'm not giving you anything. You don't get any biltong. Come on, Walter. I'm moving the chair. You can like it. He's stuck behind me. There you go. Good boy. Go lay down. Fool. But yeah.
Hearing things like that, because it kind of reinforces something I always felt as a child. I always had people in my life that was very pessimistic, and I didn't enjoy that. And I felt like it always affected me on a physical level. And my family would be like, "There's no way," and I'm like, "Yes, there is."
Well, so I had started, I think probably before, well, I don't know who was here as I was rambling while I was trying to find things without, looking at the screen. And so vibrations are a very big thing for me. I talk about the frequency, the 432,
Yeah,
32 hertz. That is a more, balanced, peaceful kind of tone.
yeah,
Now, historically, in Europe, they used 432, and as the story goes, the church powers forced them to switch because there was I'm going to call it just a power for lack of any other term. There was something about the frequency, and they didn't want that going to people. That's why everything was in Latin for so long. Even when I was a kid going to church, it was still in Latin.
yeah,
But in Nazi Germany, and I will for another time look up the guy's name. He knew that the 440 hertz, which is the 440A that we have all the guitars and instruments tuned to nowadays. A is always 440. That was hypnotic, and they could control people through using that frequency band.
yeah,
And so that was, I guess in the 40s. That's what he did, and so Germany changed their orchestral, tuning. Other countries tuned to 440. Now that is the uh, general consensus. Well, it's been that way for ages. But there are people that are doing a movement to try to go back to a 432A. And if you search YouTube, I don't know the guy's name, but he did a comparison playing a song everybody knew in the traditional 440A tuning. Then he played it in the 432 tuning. And the 432 tuning was calmer and just felt soft, warm.
more
You know,
inviting, really.
yeah. And then you've got, think of the verbiage, the vibes. Oh, that person's got, that person's gives me bad vibes.
Yeah,
Vibration. There is a machine called a magnetoencephalograph or encephalogram, I forget. But anyway, they can take an image of your brain from across the room without having to plug any wires in. They can read your body's electromagnetic field because we have 50 trillion cells. Some people say 40 trillion. What's 10 trillion? But 50 trillion cells with a potential of 1.4 volts of electricity per cell, which comes out to 70 trillion volts of electricity. So we're wired for sound. But we have this electromagnetic field around us. And they can take pictures and can see how big the field is. Some have said up to 12 meters. Then you've got the heart, and they can check the hearts. The heart produces 1,000 times the electromagnetic field that the brain does.
oh wow.
So 1,000 times. And so you can literally love clear across the world, really. It's just the study of frequencies. So if you want to, I'm happy to help you learn about the energies and stuff. I plan on sharing what I learned from the class anyway, because that just entrenches it more. It's just that's just the way it is. It just entrenches it more deeply into the psyche, I guess. But the whole notion, we have a North Pole and a South Pole, just like a battery. We have, that's how come our heart beats. We have electricity literally running through. Going back to traditional medicine, Chinese medicine, that was 5,000 BC that they had entirely mapped out the neurological system of the body. They knew more about the body, 5,000, well, now 7,000 years ago. And you've got, the acupuncture, which they have, it's been a few years now, but they had done something. I don't remember how they went about it. I'm going to say they injected ink. But they were able to put the acupuncture needle into specific places, which, are these meridians that run through our body. We have a channel that comes up here. We have another one that starts from way down there and comes up to here. You've got a liver channel, you've got the spleen channel, you've got the triple warmer, and all these different names for these energy pathways. And most traditional American doctors are poo-poo the whole notion of there being meridians, being these meridian energy pathways and the nadis and all this other stuff that even Ayurvedic medicine has known about for centuries, for decades, for more than centuries. Anyway, they discovered, by whatever means, whether it was ink or something, they were able to trace and see the energy pathway when they put the needle in, and proved to Western medicine that we do have these energy pathways moving through the body.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, you can't poo-poo it anymore. There's proof. They've got documented, written proof. They've shown that it exists. I've always intuitively known. So when I do body work and I'm massaging or working energy, I will follow the meridians. I just automatically know, well, this is blocked here, and start to move stuff around or pull it out. But there's just so much more to us than just this flesh and bone, bag that our soul is sitting in, going, okay, raise the arm up, lower the arm down, feel happy, feel sad, there's more to it. So the whole thing on frequency, it's very real. You've known somebody that, if everybody's in a room and somebody shows up and all of a sudden the energy in the room changes, either gets quiet or it just feels kind of like, I don't think I want to be here anymore. Or, there's all of these different reactions. We're a lot more aware than we give ourselves credit for. We just don't pay attention.
I totally agree. I just muted myself because I came in and the puppy and the older dog's wrestling, as you can hear.
That's all right. That's fun. But yeah, so it's interesting, and even in the Bible it talks about energy. There's all kinds of stuff. I was trying to make a comment and then I got derailed, so I'm surprised I'm remembering it now, about and I think I just derailed that comment already. It might have been Bodhisattva. I was trying to remember who, but they basically said, how cool, how smart was God to tell his story all around the world to all these different cultures. So even though you're hearing about, the Hindu traditions and Sanskrit and all of this stuff, that was those people, and that's how it was delivered to them. Their creation story and some of the things that they say we see in the Bible, but theirs is several thousand years before the Bible, but they're identical. Yeah, I mean, slight little word change. And I remember probably about 15 years ago or so, the standard belief was that, well, all of that stuff was copied from these other more ancient religions. And I don't think it was, I don't feel that it was copied anymore. I believe it was just that was the message. Everybody got it, but they got it in different time frames. And they got it in their own languages.
Well, if you pay attention in the Bible, it says God will come many times, actually, so it makes sense. He may have came and told his story, or the story how he came to be, to many different cultures.
Yeah, and it went
way
in a way that they understood it, the way that
exactly.
they played it. And and it's like God had many names. So, that was something that used to upset me about people on both sides of the fence with the Islam and the Christianity. While I'm not going to point fingers about any particular part. It was just the word Allah, and it's like it just means God. It's like God is our way of saying God. Well, in the Hindi, I think it's Brahman, or something like that. That's the top macho god, and it's a different term in another language. It doesn't detract from the great creator. Native Americans called it the creator, or the great creator, or the father. I mean, great spirit. It's just, but people get hung up on it's my way or the highway. And,
I think honestly, where you're speaking about that and like the research I've been doing, it's more a thing of an ego than looking for spirituality, though.
Absolutely. All right, I saw Annie. Yeah, I took them off, honey, because they were bugging me, and because I can't get tired of seeing my glare. I will figure out how to get the lighting just right so that my computer isn't shining back and all of that other stuff. Or just work on fixing my own eyes. That's what I'll do. How about that? But yeah, it's been, it's interesting to find all of these different aspects. Annie, you're cute no matter what.
Like for me, I've always been a very spiritual person, but not a very religious person. And I grew up in originally a Jehovah Witness house. And I don't know if you've dealt with that religion, but we'll put it this way. I was going straight to hell, but not actually hell, to the grave, which meant nothing good for me because I wanted to venture into other religions and understand them. My grandmother told me I was awful for looking into Buddhism. And I thought to myself, with what they believe, how could you believe that? They believe in causing no harm.
That was the same for me. I had a friend that was Jehovah Witness, so I learned a lot from her and completely did not understand, all of it. I am not religious at all. I have a firm belief that religion is horsepucky, only because it gets in the way of you and the messenger.
Yes.
Or you and your relationship to the creator.
Mm-hmm.
Annie's now taken possession over you. You are now hers.
Who, me or her? What?
You.
Okay, that's fine.
What are you doing down here, little girl? Gracie.
That always confused me. And then as I got older, I discovered I grew up in a cult. I thought it was a religion. No, that's a cult.
Yeah. I couldn't understand why you couldn't celebrate your birthday, why you couldn't celebrate Christmas exactly, and yet it was supposed to be about Christ.
I asked about that as a child. My birthday was because that's considered pagan, and Christmas because it's considered pagan.
Well, I mean,
That was the answer every time. And I was like, well, could the pagans have it all wrong? Because they were the earliest religion, and ooh, that made them hot.
wait, come here. Out my chair. I'm gonna roll over you, little one. All right, you're being a pain in the tuchus.
And what was funny, though, is my other grandmother on my other side was full-blooded pagan.
Okay.
So
We
needless
have
to say, I lived a very diverse and unusual childhood. Oh, it's so cute. That's the boy, right?
no. This is the little girl.
Oh, little girl, I'm sorry, honey. She is
The
so
little
precious.
boy's got his head on my lap. He's the 80-pounder.
I got you. Both mine weigh at least 60 pounds. I think one's 80 and one's 60.
What do you want?
I would show them, but my house is a mess with these 3 teenagers and me not feeling well.
Well, no worries. My house is a mess, and it's just because my house is a mess. I'm not a housekeeper. I'm not good about it. I want so desperately to organize it. I really need somebody to come in and help me. My husband can't. No, 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 Annie. You'll distract me with that. But I mean, this is my mother-in-law's house. I was her caregiver, and she passed away 3 years ago.
Oh,
Well, 2018. And yeah, and anyway, so I've still got all of her stuff here. My husband is not in a state to go through any of it, and I get it because I was forced to go through my mother's stuff when she died, and I lost probably $10,000 worth of things, antiques dating back to the 1800s, because everybody was pulling it out of the garage and trying to make me do this yard sale. And then
so annoys me when people do that because, like, when my grandfather passed, they done that. And I mean, my aunt was taking things out of the house while that man was still alive.
yeah,
Yes, he was on his deathbed, but he was still alive technically. Now, my mother-in-law, when she passed, when she lived with us, all her stuff fit in one room. I handled it, but it's because she asked me to, and she had done laid out who got what and what went where. So I knew what to do with what by her standards.
yeah,
Because I think intuitively she knew she was fixing to go, so she went ahead. But the odd part is, kind of to sum up her passing, she died of an accidental overdose of an opiate that wasn't supposed to be an addictive because it was a synthetic opioid.
yeah. Well,
Because she
yeah,
asked for nothing addictive because she was a recovering addict.
gotcha. Well, um, I just, yeah, oh yes, I love you too. I just was not ready, not emotionally ready, not mentally ready. I got rid of a bunch of stuff, but then uh, I got sick, and we had really bad weather, and I had everything covered in plastic. But because I wasn't out there every day after the wind blew everything off in the next rainstorm, everything got rained on. And I just said, screw it. And it's been out there for years, still sitting out in the front yard. I've had a guy coming and helping clean up. And so that's been helpful. But
All right.
even stuff that I know is my mom's and it's pretty well destroyed, it's like I still can't bring myself to deal with it. And I don't understand why.
Well, I'd be nice if you was closer. If it was furniture, I'd help you refinish it some, but you're not close enough because that's something I do as a hobby is refinish furniture.
Oh, I've got a ton of furniture. I have a 200-year-old plus dining table. I have my grandmother's Queen Anne wingback chairs.
Oh, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, it cost me $1,300 to get them covered the first time, and then this little pip, she got up in the chair and started scratching it. So I had to get the cushion covered, and then she went and did it on the other cushion.
Oh, she's just trying to make it her own. I get it though. My dogs are horrible on couches, but having teenagers and dogs, I've learned I'm not going to own a nice couch.
You can't even get to the couch here because I got boxes still on there. But I have come to the conclusion. Can I put you down now? Oh no, you're gonna whine. Okay. My husband had bought a new guitar case for one of his guitars. He needed it badly. The handle broke off of one, the lock broke off another, and
Yeah.
so the boxes stayed in the living room for the longest time. And I finally decided, you know what? Instead of throwing it away, since nobody throws it away, I'm going to turn it into a cubby because I have this huge table behind me. It was his when he was in seminary.
Yeah.
It's one of those big library ones, that like say 8 people around it. I really wanted it out of here because I wanted this to become my office to work with people for counseling and stuff. And but it sits there and I have nowhere for it to go, so it's kind of like, well. So I'm gonna create a storage thing, shelves and maybe even some little drawers and whatnot to put, my essential oils and my herb. Because you're talking about going to an herbalism. Well, back in '99, I became a certified herbalist, and then from there, I became a certified aromatherapist. Like, big deal. It's funny that there's all these things. So I've just been. I study something all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. Cardboard.
And for the cardboard, there's a lot of options you have for that. Oh my gosh.
Some of those things that people are making out of the cardboard.
I've seen where people have made couches out of cardboard, and it is so cool.
And they were gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
How the heck does that support people? But they'll take like maybe 4 sheets of cardboard and and glue it all together. And I've just been amazed. So that's what I do.
Oh, that's like I was telling my husband the other day. I wanted to buy a chipboard, which is kind of the thickness of cardboard, but it's like best way to explain what chipboard is, because a lot of people ask what chipboard is. If you've ever used a clipboard, you've used chipboard because that's that wood on the bottom. And I want to make a chipboard cabinet and decoupage it and put it over in my tub instead of buying new shelves.
Yeah, that would be easy. Yeah, because there's the chipboard that's the cardboard, like on the back of a notepad, that thick card. But that's not wood. But I know the chipboard you're talking about.
Yeah, because I want to say I found a lady on Amazon that she sells like scrapbook and stuff, and I want to say 25 sheets was only $25, and it's 12 by 12.
Was that you beeping or me beeping?
I think it was my child getting a text.
Oh, okay. No, it sounded like the
Oh, the fire. Yeah, I have a smoke detector that needs a battery.
Okay. Well,
it's 10 feet up in the ceiling.
I heard it, but it sounded like it was mine. And it was like,
no, it's mine. I need to put a battery in it, which is kind of funny because it requires the battery in case we lose power only because it's hardwired into the house.
Same with ours. I couldn't figure out why is it beeping. So,
and it's like, it's hardwired. Why do I have to put that D battery?
Yeah, really. It's kind of a pain. Well, I guess I'll go buy some batteries because I've got a couple that do it.
I got a 9-volt I got to get for that one, but it's only one. In 5 years living here, I guess I shouldn't complain. Oh, it's more than 5 years.
You stay. Annie's there. You want to say hi to Annie?
Hey, Daddy.
You go see Annie?
Go to bed.
You just
Have a hug.
All right. I love you. Okay, are you done? Are you done? Are you done? Okay. Can I put you down? Probably not. Because you probably are needing to go to the bathroom. I can't believe that I have been online for 3 hours. That is amazing. Thank you so much for all of this. Um, you have your own channel, right?
Not yet, but I'm going to start one here soon. It's going to be on crafting and mental health.
Well, cool. I look
the-
forward to that. I would love. So the coffee, tea, and soul is like what we did tonight, just chatting about anything and everything, and sharing things and journey stuff. The grandmother medicine, like I started to say, was the going to be food, but also all the kind of not so much native, but First Nation kind of information on spices and things, but nutritional values and all of that. And then the other one is Mother Earth and Father Sky, and I'm going to start the series on creation stories.
I'm looking forward to that. Because I know I had mentioned to you on one about the white buffalo lady.
Yeah, the white buffalo calf woman.
White butter. Yep. Because I remember watching it on YouTube, and I was just absolutely amused with it.
Yeah, there's a couple different versions about her. You are being a pain. You've got to be in my face. Why? No, I want my face. I want your face and my face to be together.
You're making me miss having a lap dog. Mine get my lap, it hurts.
Yeah. She's a bed hound. If I say the word NAP, she's off like a bat out of hell and runs straight for the bed and it's like, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. Put me in bed, put me in bed.
Sadly enough, both mine sleep in my bed, and one's 80 pounds and one's 60 pounds.
Both of them do. But this one, she will if the cover's here, she'll poke it. And so I have to lift it up so that she can crawl underneath it. But she'll stare.
That's what my Chihuahua used to do.
Willing it to lift. But
they know how to get things done when you're talking about willing. They will you to what they want.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, so the first one, I haven't decided which. I'm either going to go with the Hopi or the Sumerian for the first creation story, and I may do comparisons on a couple of them, like maybe the Judeo-Christian creation story compared to, I don't know, maybe the Sumerian. Maybe that's what I'll do, is compare those or something. I haven't quite figured it out. But it's going to be, you really are making it tough.
I was going to say, I don't think you should have it fully figured out, because it'll probably evolve some as you do it.
Yeah, I want to do it kind of storytelling.
And
share that. And then the thing that Brother Paul and I are going to do as a collab, and ping pong back and forth, is going to be about all the different paths that a person can take, because they really, all paths converge and cross at different times, and ultimately they're all going to the same place. They're just different ways of doing it.
Oh yeah, I agree with that a lot.
So that's kind of the whole kit and caboodle of soul.
Well, when I seen your name, I was already like, because at the time I was reading and learning about Metatron, and I seen the 1111, and I was just like, and I was like, that is so cool. Because at the time I was reading about Metatron because I was on a healing journey, and Metatron, and I was learning about how to pray to Metatron at the time. And that night after I seen your name was the first prayer that I had gave to Metatron, because I had took it as a sign that it told me to pray to Metatron.
Well,
and
cool.
oddly enough, things have got better since.
Well, awesome. Well, anytime I do, I am planning also probably. I don't know if it'll be on this one, on the live, or it'll be on probably would be the live. But anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry, but um, I'm going to do a healing thing. Not sure how to put it. I have my box. I'm getting ready to make a new one because I want it to be special. Uh, but I have a healing box to put people's names in, and I've been doing the pranic healing. I fell in love. So here's something because you want to learn. Look up Master Co.
Master Co.
Yeah,
Is it just the
yeah,
O or okay?
Theo. He does a free meditation Monday, Wednesday, Friday. He's in California. So for me, it's at noon and then at 8 p.m.
Okay.
He started it, it was only going to be 3 weeks, but because of the COVID thing and the prolonged, and he's been doing this for free, for over a year now. And he teaches all kinds of things. He was Catholic. He was a engineer, but his wife, when he was 24 years of age, fell 14 feet or 15 feet off a ladder and broke her hip. And I'm being poked by the big one, and this one is like, I only have two hands, and both of them have to be on her. Go on, lay down. Quit bugging me. Go get some water. You're panting. Go get water. Go on, go get water. I have nothing to give you. You aren't getting any meat. Anyway, so long story short is that the doctors told him it would take like about 5.5, 6 weeks before she'd be healed, be able to walk. And it
Yeah.
was kind of like, that's unacceptable. There has to be a faster way. And he was, again, I think he was in the Philippines, and he found his Master Chokok
That's it.
Master Chua Kok Sui. Say that fast. And so he started to go to his lessons, and he learned the first bits, and he immediately went home. And you're so wet. And he started to work on his wife. He didn't know what he was doing. He was only following basically the recipe. And whoops, sorry. There you go. Stay there. But he was, basically following the recipe. His wife started to walk in about 2.5 weeks.
Oh wow.
And so, like I said, 2 minutes and being able to go do 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 do. No, I'm not letting you up. You've been sneezing all over me. And yeah, so just stay there. And he's very, very down to earth, very point blank. He has no patience. It's like, if you don't like the way I'm teaching, or you don't like what I have to say, go somewhere else. Go find somebody. He doesn't sugarcoat. He's not rude. He is abrupt, but I get it. It's like, you're either there to learn, or you're there to just troll, I guess. He's not somebody that, if you want to have your hand held every step of the way, that's not what he does.
Yeah.
And I like him. I remember back in March, though, last year when he was starting it, he would apologize about stuff, about what, something. And I told him, don't apologize. You don't need to apologize to anybody. I don't know if he ever even saw my comments. I have no idea. His chat just goes brrr, everybody's Namaste and Atma Namaste, and and blessings from here, and I mean people all over the world. And but you know, I found him about 8 years ago and started applying what I learned from watching him.
Yeah.
But this training I'm going to next month, um, it lists all the things that you don't get to see in public. That he's not telling you about. He's not showing you. I'm doing this, this, and this. You're watching him move his hands, and he's literally brushing and throwing and brushing and throwing, and maybe he's saying something, or he'll hold his hand up and scan, and he's doing all of these different things, and so I had learned decades ago about pulling energy off of people, and I snapped my fingers to get rid of it. He uses a bowl of salt water, and he has a spray that he's got lavender and water and alcohol in, and I think something else maybe, and just all these different stuff. And so I'm following his path a little more directly. Uh, I love what it does and what I've seen it do. I've used it on a couple friends, and then hear that they're having improvements. I'm not doing full out blown out treatments. I'm just kind of playing in one spot, and then
Yeah.
and it might be just I'm not confident. I don't know why I wouldn't be confident, but I want to learn more. So the 17th and 18th are 2 full days, and it's $325. So I'm trying to get that up, and I'm looking forward to it. I've got a few people I'm going to teach it to, to empower them so that they can take a little bit more control of their life. But again, he's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Come back. There we are. So California time was 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. So aren't you Eastern?
No, I'm Central. I'm Middle Tennessee.
Oh, you're okay. So Central. So yeah. So you would also be noon and 8 p.m. And on Fridays he does 2 different healings. Gracie Ann, I love you. You're a pain in the butt. And he switches them back and forth. So like the morning might be prosperity healing, and then the afternoon would be physical healing, and then the next week it'll be the other way around. And so when you're doing the physical healing, and I guess you could even do it with the prosperity healing, he recommends a pan of water. It just has to be an inch or 2, and then salt in that, and you just put your feet in it while you're doing all this stuff, because he works on you. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. Something hit the door. This is the chaos that is. Sorry about that. Evidently, I didn't shut the door well. Yeah, there's nothing out there.
That's okay. Walter just kind of looked like, huh? I heard a dog. There's somebody else there. Yes, I'm talking about you. But anyway, with the salt water, and then there's I know he's doing I think Sunday he's doing a full moon meditation, and he does there's some paying things, but there's also he does a lot of free stuff on his website, and that's mastercode all one word.org. And so you can find the free soul thing that he's doing tomorrow night. You can sign up for it, and then it'll be sent to your email. It won't be on YouTube. And trying to think, what else does he got? He's got the full moon thing going on. Some of his stuff is 20, 30 minutes long. Some are 45 minutes. There was one he did last week, I think, that was like an hour and a half, which kind of surprised me. But I recommend him wholeheartedly. And even for people who are timid or I don't know, just give him a chance, because even if the delivery is abrupt, and he always starts off with telling you about whatever the subject is and guiding. It's like, take notes, listen, and you might find out later on, all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, I can see how that applies. But yeah.
Sorry about that again, honey.
That's okay. I just kept rambling.
Oh, you're fine. I was just trying to deal with them and listen to you too, because if something hits the door from where I'm out in the country,
Yeah.
they will go on like little psychos because they're trying to protect mama.
No, I understand. We're out in the boonies too. We're on 14 acres.
And the door, I didn't shut it good enough, evidently, and the wind caught it where it was blowing. But I definitely have an interest in things like that. And as an empath, a lot of times I find myself absorbing energy that isn't mine that I have to deal with.
Yeah, this will help you to learn to deal with that. There are so many different approaches to how to protect yourself from it. I like his stuff. I even though, I mean, I've studied the pagan, the Wiccan, the Celtic Druid, the Italian, the you name it, and it's just like the Hawaiian. Walter, stop. I'm possibly he's like the end of my journey on my study. I don't know. Excuse me. I inhaled wrong.
Hush.
Give me a few. I'm almost done. I know I was going to be done hours ago, but I'm almost done. Okay, promise.
Hush. I knew you.
That's all right. I think that the dogs are telling us something.
Yeah, mine's telling me she wants attention. Hush. Sit. Okay, I got you. Okay, yeah, I know.
Well, honey, I am so grateful to our face-to-face and sharing this time and learning all kinds of stuff. That's okay. It's why my room is always dark. I got a stack of boxes behind me that are all meant to be cardboard to be dismantled. But I think it is now time to take the children and let them go out to the great outdoors. And I think I need to too.
I agree. Mine's haven't fit. They're going to have to find out there's nothing out there, or they're going to keep on. And my husband just went to bed.
Well, sweet soul, thank you so much. You got a headache?
A little bit. Their barking startled me earlier, and I had a startle response I had to deal with for a moment.
Okay, well, if you don't mind, I'll just send some energy your way and help you out.
All right, thank you, honey.
All right, well, listen, Crystal, it was lovely, lovely. I had fun with you. Even though I think we chased Brother Paul off with our HTML5 and CSS.
Yep. Oh my God. Did you see that and just do that? She just pulled the curtain off the wall.
I saw that. It's like, there's something out there. I gotta look.
Yep.
All right, Mom. You have a blessed night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will talk to you soon.
You too, honey.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
And everybody in the chat, I am saying adieu and good night. Sweet dreams, bright blessings. May the angels come and cradle you off into blissful sleep. May they watch over you and know always that you are loved. And Annie, if you're still here, I love you. And thank you for being mine. And on that note, Gracie, say good night. You're not going to say good night? Well, I will. So, good night, everybody. Take care. And thank you again for being part of my maiden voyage. All right, here we go. Have a good night.